Welcome to a rain-soaked Fenway Park on a Saturday afternoon. There's a window, the proverbial window. We get ready for baseball. It stopped raining, and here we go. Interleague baseball for you. The Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Boston Red Sox. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim McCarver is coming up in just a second. An interesting pitching matchup for you today. Curt Schilling gets the ball for the Red Sox, a longtime Philly. And for Philadelphia, young Brett Myers coming off a great start against the Yankees. However, early Friday morning, Brett Myers was arrested and charged with hitting his wife Kim in the face on a street not far from Fenway Park. He pleaded not guilty, and he gets the ball today. He'll pitch for the Phillies, who are really struggling as they fall out of the race, at least at the moment, in the NL East. Tim McCarver, you and I are here at Fenway Park looking at the Red Sox for the first time this year, and they are winning games in a much different fashion than we're used to seeing.
With all of the moves that they made during the offseason, everybody, Red Sox fans in particular, used to seeing the Red Sox score a lot of runs, but this year they lead the majors in fewest errors. However, the most impressive thing to me about the Boston Red Sox is how they've continued to stay in contention and yet develop some of the young arms like John Lester, who is a starter in the bullpen, Craig Hansen, Manny Del Carmen, and their golden boy, Jonathan Papelbon. And what eye-boggling numbers he is putting up. Only one earned run in almost 36 innings this year.
Look up at that camera right now and let me see your eyes boggle.
Eyes are boggling.
We get ready for baseball on a rainy Saturday in Fenway Park. The Phillies and the Red Sox. Buckle in. Interleague baseball next on Fox. I love these guys. Each and every one of these people, I love them. Dave Mellor is the head of the grounds crew. What a job they've done here today. They have a meeting, they pull out a grass plug, the water disappears, they blow dry the grass, and now we're ready for baseball. It's the wonders of baseball in the 21st century.
Fabulous job by the grounds crew here at Fenway Park.
Be a nice time for one of those big, thick Nantucket type sweaters on a day like this. 68 degrees and chance of thunderstorms. There's no way, Tim, when you woke up in your plush hotel this morning, when you had somebody open your draperies, that you thought we'd be playing baseball on time today, the Phillies and the Red Sox.
There was no way I thought they'd get the game in last night either, and they did.
They did, and that was bad news for the Phillies. A 10-2 win for the Red Sox. Take a look at the lineup for Philadelphia. It's sponsored by Taco Bell. Jimmy Rollins leads it off. He's the shortstop. Then it's Utley, Abreu, Burrell, Howard, the young stud. Rowand is the center fielder. David DeLucci in left. David Bell at third, and Sal Fasano does the catching as they anticipate maybe next week the return of Mike Lieberthal, who's been out with a bad hip. Curt Schilling, you ever seen him? He is the starter, the right-hander for the Red Sox today, and compared to last year, it's a totally different world for Curt Schilling, who's off to a 9-2 start.
All the injuries last year. His last start here at Fenway Park back on May 27th when he won his 200th career game. And boy, he has been Gibraltar for the Red Sox, for the Diamondbacks, and once for the Phillies. The Rock of Gibraltar.
Wait.
Sorry.
This picture profile is brought to you by Axon and Mobile Retailers. Okay, now, Gibraltar.
From four seams to two seams. Normally, a four-seam fastball pitcher is a power pitcher. And he's lost some of his power. And I think it's time right now, and it hasn't really been talked about a lot, but I think you have to start thinking about Curt Schilling in the Hall of Fame mode. Only 201 wins. I think if he wins another 30 games, he will be, if not a shoe-in, a guy that you can bet will be in the Hall of Fame someday.
Take a look at the defense behind Curt Schilling today, and what a defense it is for the Boston Red Sox. Brought to you by Gillette Fusion. And it's an outfield of Ramirez, Crisp, and Nixon. And then that very good infield, Tim, which you talked about at the start with Lowell, Gonzalez, Loretta, Youkilis, who's made the switch over from third base, Varitek, who's the leader and captain of this team. This is a different type baseball here with the Boston Red Sox, but effective as they have won 7 straight. They've dominated in the American League. In interleague play, they just don't lose.
Winning 9 of 10, and talking about their defense, the last time the Boston Red Sox led the majors in defense was 1950. 56 years since the Red Sox have led the majors in defense.
Because it's always been just one of those things that if you're going to play in Fenway Park, you need guys to pound the baseball. You need pitching that's good enough to get by, and then just hope that you can outslug the opposition. Guy's going to kick it around the infield, and you're going to have slow outfielders, and that is not the case with this team in 2006. A bunt attempt, good effort, testing Schilling and winning the race is Rollins. It's something we expected more of even in the postseason in 2004 and never saw it, with Schilling with a bad right ankle, and a good start, a wise start for Jimmy Rollins and the Phillies.
You hear often in a stolen base situation, he stole that one off the pitcher. Well, Jimmy Rollins is on first because he beat the pitcher, Curt Schilling, to the bag. And that's an interesting point, Joe, that you brought up. 2 years ago, everybody was wondering why more teams didn't bunt against him. Rollins just successfully did.
Well, you think about that postseason and Schilling pitching in the ALCS against the Yankees. It was clear he wasn't right after his first start. He was great in his second start of that series, but they didn't bunt on him.
No.
They didn't test him at all. And the Cardinals didn't do it either in the World Series.
Right.
Leadoff man is on, and here is Chase Utley, the slugging second baseman. And a beloved player for the Phillies takes a strike. Utley is off to a .289 start, but over his last 15 games, he's hitting under $150. But he is one of those special guys who can play second base and hit home runs. Way up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Take a look at second baseman in the top. Second baseman across the major leagues. And Chase Utley is run production wise right there at the top. And a guy who in his career has a slugging percentage at the moment of number 3 all time behind Hornsby and Jeff Kent. A check on the runner at first, Rollins. He has stolen 16 bases.
You've heard the expression that a team doesn't have a leadoff hitter. The Phillies really don't have a number 2 hitter. I mean, here their number 2 hitter, Chase Utley, is a guy who drove in 105 runs last year. A guy you'd want hitting 3, 4, or 5.
1-2 on Utley from Curt Schilling. You could make the case that they don't have a true leadoff hitter either.
No.
I mean, on base percentage wise, Jimmy Rollins is toward the very bottom of the league. A good hitter, a very good player, but maybe not a leadoff hitter type. But he's on with a bunt single and draws a throw from Schilling. I'll tell you what the biggest difference is looking at Schilling for the first time in person this year. And not only you haven't seen these guys this year, have you?
No. A lot on television, but not personally.
Another check on Rollins. Not just the way he's moving around, as that right ankle is clearly more healthy than it was at any point last year, but physically he looks so much more fit. Last year he came back, he was a lot heavier and trying to pitch on a bad right ankle. Eventually found his way into the closer's role and was okay. Utley is jammed and he flares one into center. That's going to get down for a hit, and Rollins will end up at third. Bad throw, ill-advised throw, and Utley takes second. Great base running by Chase Utley, and a poor decision by Mark Loretta, the second baseman. It's second and third, nobody out.
That'll be the last time in this game that we talk about the Red Sox defense. That was a very poor throw, an ill-advised throw. Great base running by Rollins, factoring in the outfield and Utley making the turn, and once he sees Loretta's throw go high, Chase makes it easily to second base.
So now second and third for Abreu. And for the Phillies, who have made it a habit of falling behind early, here they have a golden opportunity to jump out in front on Curt Schilling. Abreu has driven in 49. His power has been on the sink
the last couple of years when you think about what he's done from last All-Star game when he was hitting one home run after another in the home run derby. He has only 14 total since last year's All-Star break.
That's over 144 games. Better part of a season. It's one of the reasons Stan Musial didn't used to like home run contests, because he thought it would mess up his swing. Who knows?
Abreu now is in the hole 0-2, and Schilling, who's looking for a strikeout, as Bobby Abreu set up. Curt Schilling is now 39 years old. He came to the Red Sox from Arizona in November of '03. At one point, when he turned into a Philadelphia Philly, he came from Houston in 1992, traded for Jason Grimsley. Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
Abreu clubs one into deep center field. Crisp will not get there. It one-hops the center field wall. It's a two-run double and a great start for the Phillies, who lead 2-0.
Talk about getting on top of a high fastball. Between the letters in the waist on an 0-2 count, and a pitch that Schilling wishes he would have back. So a bunt, a bloop, and a blast for the Phillies so far in the first.
2 runs, and now Burrell looking to add to it. Still nobody out. Pat is the DH today, and he takes a ball up and away. Burrell stands in with a .261 average and 52 RBIs. One ball, one strike. Curt Schilling has compiled quite a list of players who have been dealt to get his services, whether it's been from Arizona or to Philadelphia or Houston, Baltimore, and that big deal, the Glenn Davis trade, and all the talent that went with him.
Steve Finley and Pete Harnisch, the other 2 players that went to Houston for Glenn Davis. Steve Finley still playing for the San Francisco Giants, and Pete Harnisch won 111 games after that trade.
That's on the corner, and it's 2-2.
Good fastball from Schilling. Think about his power, but he is very precise in locating his fastball.
One out, a strikeout from Schilling. He gets him on the splitter, and Burrell goes down swinging.
Think about the 3 strikes to Burrell. There was the slider, the fastball on the corner, and the splitter going down.
Here is the young stud Ryan Howard, who is the reigning Rookie of the Year, and he has had no sophomore jinx whatsoever. What a player he's turned out to be. What a hitter. And somebody that the Phillies can build around, along with Utley and Rollins and some of the young kids they have in their lineup. Already 25 home runs, and he leads the major leagues with 66 RBIs. Takes high.
Got that unusual approach, too. He uses that bat like a pointer, almost like a commander, a general, pointing out a patrol. Then when the pitcher starts, he starts.
One ball, one strike. If you look at the numbers as they start to pile up, how can you help but think, with today's headlines and all the stories that are going on outside of baseball, what was going on with each individual player here? You look at somebody like Bob Horner, who had that great start with the Atlanta Braves, finished his career with the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a pitch on the outside corner, 1-2 on Howard. And from the Grimsley situation to even Paxton Crawford, a former Boston Red Sox pitcher, and everything that's been talked about. Every time one of those lists pops up now, I have a different feel to it.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
It's not a question of how many home runs, but who has taken what. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Howard reaches out, and nice pickup by Loretta. A nasty hop, 2 down.
In between hop, fielded nicely by Loretta. One of the luxuries you have as an infielder that plays on the right side of the infield. You can drop it and still get your man.
No surprise for people who have seen plenty of Loretta with his days in the National League that he has found success. He's a career 300 hitter, and he is about as solid as they come. Here's Aaron Rowan, another guy who fits into that category. Up and away, still in his 20s, and a guy that has to be considered either A, great trade bait, the Phillies fall even further behind, or B, part of that young core that this Phillies team can build around for years to come. There's a foul out of play off to the left, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Now, the one thing Aaron Rowan has that many major league players who have donned major league uniforms do not have is a World Series ring. As a center fielder for the Chicago White Sox last year, they beat the Houston Astros 4 in a row, of course. Aaron, a big part of that team. Traded for Jim Thome during the offseason.
Good fastball from Schilling, 94. What Rowan also has that a lot of good players in Philadelphia Phillies history don't have is the total respect of that fan base for what he did banging into the fence, breaking his nose on a catch earlier this year.
Back on May 11th against Xavier Nady of the New York Mets, and you're exactly right. He's won the fans over with one play.
95 miles per hour from Schilling, who has cranked it up, and here's the play on May 11th to rob Xavier Nady and come away after the collision with a bloodied and broken nose. Onto the DL. A standing ovation on his way out and a standing ovation on his way back in. For good reason. A 1-2 to Aaron Rowan. I got to admit, watching Schilling pitch last year, I never thought I'd see him throw like this again.
It was painful last year to see him pitch and to struggle through what is a great career, but bouncing back like the pro he is.
Here's a 2-2. Full count. Last season as a starter, Schilling was 4-5, 5.87, but within those numbers was rather average pitching stuff. This season, he looks like he's back to his 2004 form, at least to me.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought he was on his way out. 2 strikeouts in the inning. A bunt, a bloop, and a blast, to quote a friend of mine. And a 2-run lead for the Phillies as they jump out on top today against their former teammate, at least for a few of them, Curt Schilling. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by your Exxon and Mobil retailers. We're drivers too. By the new Spicy Chicken Crunch Wrap Supreme at Taco Bell. It's good to go. And by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. Here's the reaction for Brett Myers, the 25-year-old, when he took the field. The reason for that is what we talked about coming on the air, that he was arrested early in the morning on Friday, not far from Fenway Park, and charged with hitting his wife Kim in the face. He pleaded not guilty. His next court date is August the 4th. And yet here he is hours later taking on the Red Sox and his former pal, current pal, former teammate Curt Schilling in this matchup on a Saturday game of the week.
Myers starting today led some people to believe that perhaps he shouldn't start. But the Phillies felt differently, and more importantly, Myers felt differently.
Euclid flips the pitch into right. It's caught by Abreu, 1 down. Take a look at the lineup for the Red Sox. It's sponsored by Taco Bell. They lead it off with Euclid. He's made it out. Mark Loretta playing second, batting second. David Ortiz is the DH. Then Manny Ramirez, Trot Nixon having a great year. Jason Varitek is the catcher. Mike Lowell, Coco Crisp, and Alex Gonzalez bring up the bottom part of the lineup for Terry Francona. I think you can make a strong case to say this is too sensitive a matter for him to pitch hours later here at Fenway Park. As you said, he didn't think so. The Phillies obviously don't think so. On the other side of it, you can't say that people who get arrested shouldn't work. Right. He will have his day in court, and if he is found guilty of doing what he is charged with doing, then separate from whatever decision is handed down from the court system, he is in line for a severe penalty, in my opinion, for Major League Baseball for what happened early Friday morning.
Interesting point.
But here he is starting against Curt Schilling, a guy he looked up to coming up through the Phillies organization. And Myers is already an excitable guy. You have to wonder as you watch him pitch, as Utley went after that ball and missed it, if Myers will try to do too much, overthrow with all that's swirling around him in this matchup against Schilling. We'll watch him here early.
I think Chase Utley was diving too soon then. He was airborne really before that line drive called for it. So timing a little bit off and a base hit for Mark Loretta.
So 1 on 1 out for David Ortiz. Number 2 in the MVP voting last year to Alex Rodriguez. He takes a ball outside, and Ortiz is doing what the Red Sox and the rest of baseball has come to expect, and that is not only drive in runs, but drive in big runs at important times for the Red Sox. On the corner, good pitch from Myers, 1-1.
David Ortiz is a walking walk-off reason to leave the ballpark.
He is a guy that has put more smiles on the faces here with fans at Fenway swinging the bat than anybody over the past 3 years.
No question.
The 1-1. 1-2. His most recent walk-off, June 11th. Hopping around at home plate. A huge shift on the infield defense for Ortiz, who takes ball 2 up and away.
That was a game the Red Sox were never ahead until the last swing of the bat. They were trailing 4-2 in that game with 2 outs and 2 on in the 9th inning. And Big Papi did it again.
19 go-ahead RBIs, the most in Major League Baseball, and somehow he finds a hole through the right side. A race between David Bell and Loretta over to third base. No throw anyway, and it's first and third, 1 out. How do you find a hole in that defense? I guess just hit it hard.
Hit it hard enough. Normally would be right into the position of second base, but Utley is toward first. Rollins is toward second, and David Ortiz finds the seam.
So a 2-0 lead and 2 on with only 1 out for Boston here in the first. Our first look at Manny Ramirez, who's hitting .296. Tied for 4th in the AL with 20 home runs, and he has 50 RBIs. He went deep twice last night. After the first pitch, and a fly ball into deep right. That'll cut the lead in half. Both runners tag, but only Loretta advances. He scores, and it's 2-1. RBI number 51 for Ramirez, and he made it look easy. Take a look at the defense for the Phillies. It's brought to you by Gillette Fusion. No surprises. DeLucci is in left with Rowand in center and Abreu in right. The DH is Burrell, so DeLucci gets the start in the outfield. Bell, Rollins, Utley, and Howard on the infield, and Sal Fasano does the catching for Brett Myers. Here is Trot Nixon, who's having his best year in the big leagues with free agency looming. Takes a ball.
I just think the Red Sox have done such a remarkable job keeping their stellar players for years like Nixon and then filling gaps. Lowell at third, Gonzalez at short, Mark Loretta at second base. Kevin Youkilis, who had played third and was on the Pawtucket Red Sox shuttle over the last 2 years, 5 times to be exact, is now their regular first baseman. But think about it, they have 4 different infield positions than what started the season for the Red Sox last year.
2-0 is the count. There's Youkilis, who is a first baseman slash leadoff hitter. That's ball 3, 3-0 from Myers with Varitek next. And not only just in their lineup, but they have a couple of holes in their rotation now with Wells. They don't know when he's coming back. Clement is on the disabled list. So they go get Jason Johnson, the right-hander from the Cleveland Indians, and just give up some money to get him. A guy that's worthy of a $4 million contract from the Indians. Wasn't pitching well, but why not? Maybe the ground ball specialist pitcher can take advantage of this good infield defense the Red Sox have and be successful here.
I think that's from what we read, from what Terry Francona said, exactly what the Red Sox plan to do. That's why they got him.
Ball 4, puts 2 on with 2 out. Take a look at the pitching profile for Brett Myers. It's brought to you by Exxon and Mobil retailers.
#1 starter stuff. I don't think there's any question about it with Brett Myers trying to beat the two co-MVPs of the 2001 World Series in 1 week. He beat Randy Johnson on Monday, trying to beat Curt Schilling today.
Here is Varitek. 2 on, 2 out. And a smash right at Utley to end the inning. A loud first inning here at Fenway. So far, the rain is staying away. 2-1. Philadelphia on top. Schilling back to work. Underway after 1 at Fenway Park. Josh Beckett is another newcomer, at least this season, to the Boston Red Sox. A great start last night. Got through 8 innings. 2 runs on 3 hits. Timlin finished the game, and a 10-2 win over Philadelphia for Boston. Now it's David DeLucci first up. And he takes a strike. DeLucci is a guy that teams have their eye on if the Phillies should fall farther behind. They start the day 11 out behind the Mets in the NL East. However, only 4.5 out behind Cincinnati in the wild card chase. The National League in 2006 is not good.
No. In fact, the American League, you look at the American League and how much better they are than the National League. The American League has won the last 8 All-Star games. They've won 3 out of the last World Series, and they're 86-55 in interleague play this year. The Red Sox themselves 9-1 in interleague play.
I think it's becoming more and more obvious as you look at those numbers and the way the American League has dominated the National League, that outside of the Mets and maybe the Cardinals when healthy, there isn't a team that you can hang your hat on in the National League and say, there's a team that would really strike fear into you. I think the Mets are far and away the only team in that category right now.
I do too.
In the National League.
I do too.
And the American League, you've got Boston. You still have to consider the Yankees, Toronto, even in the American League East alone. Let alone some of the lineups that you have in the AL West, the talent in the AL Central with the White Sox, I think the best team in the game, and the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland's lineup. A lot of cities would kill to have the kind of young talent they have. They're just not playing one.
Yeah. And the one thing that will not allow Detroit to go away is their young pitching. Freelander, Bonderman, Nate Robertson, all having terrific years.
2-2 pitch is in the dirt from Schilling, full count. And right now they've got Maroth on the disabled list. They won last night, beating St. Louis, and at the moment the Detroit Tigers are enjoying a half-game lead over the White Sox, who, if you could make a case, they may be better than they were last year.
How about those 3 games the Cardinals played in Chicago? The White Sox scored 20 runs, 13 runs, and 1 run, and swept the Cardinals.
And in the finale, had only 1 hit.
Yeah.
A Tomey home run.
Right.
Against the rookie Anthony Reyes, who looks like he'll be around to stay in the St. Louis rotation. 3-2 pitch. DeLucci with a ground ball through Loretta and into right. Jeannie Zelasco is hanging out, ready to talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Former Philly Jim Thome officially converted. How about his version of smart ball? Just move that runner. Nice sac fly with score Scott Podsednik. 1-0 White Sox. And we actually have proof that the Astros can score on Chicago. Look, right there it happened. Orlando Palmeiro, the shot just past Joe Crede. Morgan Edberg scores, and it's 1-1 bottom 2.
All right, Jeannie, thanks. Here the leadoff man is on. In the Central, there's the half-game lead for Detroit. And then it's surprising that the Twins and Indians are playing the way they're playing. That's way high for ball 1.
White Sox behind Jose Contreras last night, who won his 16th consecutive game for the White Sox. His last loss in early August of last year. The American League record, by the way, Roger Clemens, who won 20 games in a row over 2 years.
David Bell comes up empty, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. The All-Star game is on July 11th in Pittsburgh. Jose Contreras is lining himself up for a possible start with the way he's pitching for the AL. In the National League right now would probably start, if it all set up the right way, Bronson Arroyo, the former Boston Red Sox right-hander who was traded for Willie Mopena. What a year he's had. 1-1 pitch. Strike 2. Arroyo is 9-3 with Major League Baseball's best ERA of 2.47. And at the end of spring training, off he went to Cincinnati. He's a big reason why the Reds right now lead the wild card chase in the watered down National League. A 1-2 to Bell. A little inside. 2-2.
Fastball missing inside to David Bell. Gordon Eads of the Boston Globe had an interesting article quoting Bronson Arroyo at length this past week. Very gracious article on Arroyo's part, saying the reason he hasn't called Theo Epstein, he didn't want to really show up the trade.
Bell strikes out 1 away.
Saying that while he was going well, that he loved his time here in Boston, and he just didn't want to, since Pena's on the disabled list with a wrist problem, he didn't want to make it public that it was the wrong move to make. And who's to say, maybe Pena will come out and do a good job for the Red Sox in the future. But right now, Arroyo is burning up the National League Central.
Here's Sal Fasano. Rather imposing looking guy at the plate. Takes a pitch low and away for ball 1.
Now you've got to have fun in this game if you play the game, and Sal Fasano with Sal's pals in Philadelphia.
Looks like he should be on a Harley. Or in the movie Major League. Looks like Vukovich in Major
He
League.
does. He does. 1-1 to Pete Vukovich.
1 on, 1 out. A 1-run Philadelphia lead here in the second. Runner goes. A chance for Veritek. 2 out.
strong throw. Wow.
DeLucci caught for the second time this season.
Not a good jump because the hit and run was on, and sometimes when the ball is so high, you can't pull the trigger. But a strong throw from Varitek to get his man.
It's a typical look that you catchers have down at second base after throwing to catch a runner. Varitek is trying to somehow see if the guy's out or safe by looking through his mask sideways.
It's one of the problems with those heavy masks. When you do make the throw, it turns on you, and often you never see the end of the play.
Full count. Here's that look from Varitek after getting DeLucci.
Watch the mask. Kind of have to peek around the padding to see if he got the man.
The original Phantom of the Opera, Tim McCarver. 3-2 pitch. Full count will remain on Sal Fasano, who's hitting .254. Phillies have lost 12 of 15. Coming off a 2-7 homestand and trying to get something going at the start of a long road trip through the AL East. 4 strikeouts already for Schilling. Gets around the leadoff hit thanks to the work of his catcher Jason Varitek. Bottom of the second at Fenway. 2-1 Philadelphia. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Budweiser. Bright, crisp, clean, pure. This is Budweiser. This is beer. Here at Fenway Park. They light up that neon with pride. 2-1 the Phillies on top. Bottom of the second, and it will be the bottom 3 in the lineup. Lowell, Coco Crisp, and Alex Gonzalez. What a turnaround for Mike Lowell. Anybody who saw enough of him in the National League knew that he was one of the best at catching it and throwing it over at third base, but he has had a resurgence with a bat. Last year hit only .236. You saw the average of .311, and he's in the hole here 0-2.
Second in the American League in doubles, and the monster in left field has been very friendly with Mike Lowell.
That is a rocket foul. He's 32, won't turn 33 until next February, and he's a guy that I think it's becoming more and more obvious. He just had a bad year last year on a bad Florida team. A Florida team that was approaching yet another fire sale. And yet, how hot are the Florida Marlins right now under Joe Girardi?
They've won 10 of their last 12. I'll tell you, the Red Sox really did their homework with Mike Lowell. He was always a pull hitter, always a guy who liked the ball inside. And what better place in baseball to like the ball inside and to be a pull hitter if you're a right-hander than Fenway Park? And Terry Francona knows it, and that's why they went out and got Mike Lowell, and a good job by Theo Epstein.
1-2 pitch is hit high and deep in the air to left. He's a pull hitter. It's 2-2. Is that kind of what you were talking about?
Boy, did he jump on that high fastball. That ball was high. Yeah, I mean, this guy loves to pull the ball and loves the ball inside, and really jumped on that 2-strike fastball from Myers, and the Red Sox tie it. Man.
Now it's Crisp. who was brought here to be the leadoff hitter and replace Johnny Damon. He went down the first week of the season with a hand injury, and now he has worked his way back and batting in the number 8 spot. Hitting .279. He is out of the way of that pitch down and in, but he swung at it. According to Dan Iasonia, 0-2. Hits by direction, and that further underlines the point you're making about a guy who likes to pull with the short left field dimensions here at Fenway Park with a monster. 0-2, and Chris pops out of there. Myers just gave up his 13th home run of the season. Still 0-2. Chris missed 42 games with a fractured left index finger. Homered here Tuesday, which was his first ever home run at Fenway Park. 0-2 pitch. Good pitch down and in. First strikeout for Brett Myers. 1 out. From Burger King, it's the have it your way home field advantage. Crisp used to be a visiting player here, but now he gets the spacious home clubhouse here at Fenway Park. Park that was built in 1912. They renovated that side. They've renovated this side to a point. The visitor side, you want to ride the bike. You can press yourself up against the wall. You want to get to know your teammates. Getting dressed at those lockers is a good way to find out what your group is all about. Just like the Red Sox have it their way here at Fenway, you can have it your way at Burger King. And that bunt squirts foul. It's 0-2. It's one way to keep the media at arm's length. If you want to talk to these guys, you got to get awfully close.
Rather intimate clubhouse. You're right.
It is. That's foul. Gonzalez has been hot. He has his average up to 260.
He's mad right now that he broke his gamer. Sometimes when you're hot with that one bat, and I have no idea whether he's used that bat for a couple of weeks or so, but when you're used to that bat and you get used to the feel, it's very upsetting when you break it. It's worse when you come out and see in the National League a pitcher using it in batting practice. And that often happens.
Yes, you need to keep it under lock and key.
Yes.
There's Wonder Boy. It's now broken. That's too far inside. 2-2 as Myers just missed. Last time out, Tim mentioned that he beat Randy Johnson and the Yankees. He struck out 11 in 6 2/3 innings. Crisp struck out. Gonzalez stays alive. Alex Gonzalez came up with the Marlins at a time where they were in between one of their runs and they had very little veteran leadership. Could teach him the right way to play the game, and he has really matured over the last 3 or 4 years, to the point where now the Red Sox feel they've got the best defensive shortstop in the game today.
Hard to believe he's never won a Gold Glove. He's committed 1 error this year. 1.
That wasn't even really a fielding error. It was on a double play ball where he bobbled the flip from the second baseman. He has set a Red Sox franchise record for consecutive games. He's gone 51 straight at short without an error. Rico Petrocelli had the old one of 48 games that he set between 1968 and 1969. So for as good as Orlando Cabrera had been, this guy's been better. And obviously before Cabrera, Nomar. 2-2 pitch. Wow. Almost took the hat off the head of Brett Myers, and it's 1-on-1 out. Let's check in quickly with Jeannie Zalasko.
All right, this just in from Cleveland, and this just out from Todd Hollandsworth. 2-run home run And now Mr. Bronson Arroyo. Remember him? Can relax. Gets it out of the way. The 4th straight start. Arroyo has allowed a home run. It is 2-zip Indians bottom 3.
There you go. Arroyo, who has his 9-3 record and that ERA under 2.5, gives up the home run. And here is Youkilis, who's hitting .319. Tough play. David Bell. What a play to get the force at second, and Utley is just happy he can stand on those legs with healthy knees after that slide from Gonzalez. 2 out.
I think Alex went in too late. I think he was thinking about turning the bag and then realized that, uh-oh, he made the play. And the slide was late, and fortunately, Utley's all right.
Gonzalez knows from playing a middle infield position how dangerous that can be, and I think his first reaction was to A, let Utley know he wasn't trying to drive him into the dirt or into the green monster, and B, checking to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. You know, over the years, you will find that middle infielders rarely have hard takeout slides at second base because they know it could be reversed the next half inning.
So Youkilis is on the force out. With 2 out, a 1-1 count on Loretta. Mark Singleton scored his first time, scored on the sac fly by Ramirez. Youkilis is getting the typical leadoff hitter type treatment over at first, but he is not the kind of guy that's going to get on and steal a lot of bases. He's 3 for 3. But Myers is paying close attention to him. The 1-1. Popped up into right. Maybe a play for Abreu. Out of room. Strike 2.
Well, the one thing around Philadelphia now is Bobby Abreu's inability to go close to a wall and make a play. And look, you know, when you look at a major league player, there are certain things that you don't expect him to do. And Abreu is, by admitting it himself, he does not like the wall. He doesn't like to get near it, whether he's going back or to the left. This ball is a couple rows up. But that is one of the criticisms of his game, and that might be the only criticism of Bobby Abreu's game.
Youkilis takes off. Fasano's throw is corralled by Utley, and it's stolen base number 4 for Kevin Youkilis.
Pitch up and in, and the throw by Fasano. Sal did what he could. But Youkilis with his 4th stolen base without being caught.
Loretta with a base hit to center field. Youkilis coming home. Rowan's throw is to the backstop. And it's 3-2 Boston. And they serenade Youkilis on his way back to the dugout.
Timely hitting by Loretta, a breaking ball from Myers, and this throw nearer the Charles River than Sal Fasano. Myers backing up, but it will in all likelihood be an error on Rowan, or they may say that Loretta went to second base because of the throw, but an errant throw by Rowan nonetheless.
So after falling behind 2-0, the red-hot Red Sox, winners of 7 straight, have now jumped out in front 3-2. And they're going to walk David Ortiz and pitch to Manny Ramirez. This just proves to you how good this lineup is and how great this 3-4 punch is for Boston.
I think they're the best tandem in baseball. I really do. For run production. This is only the 7th intentional walk of the year for Ortiz. With all of his power, with all of his danger at the plate, and the reason for that, obviously, the guy coming up
The guy coming up is Manny Ramirez. The decision made by Charlie Manuel, and you have to decide between Ortiz or Manny Ramirez. Ken Rosenthal is with us here at Fenway Park, and Charlie Manuel is under a lot of fire in Philadelphia, and people are wondering, Kenny, if the axe will fall and he will lose his job. What do you hear?
Joe, I don't think so. And Pat Gillick's history as a general manager is that he doesn't fire managers in midseason. He's done it only once in 23 previous seasons as a GM. And when you look at the Phillies, they're last in the National League in rotation ERA, next to last in batting average with runners in scoring position. It's difficult to blame Charlie Manuel.
I'm sure Pat Gillick hates it, but his nickname is Stand Pat. I'm sure that drives him up a wall, but for Pat Gillick, it's his 4th go-around as a GM. He's been with Toronto, Baltimore, Seattle, and now Philly. And he's here at the park today watching as Manny Ramirez steps in. The sac fly his first time, and 2 on, 2 out, and the Red Sox already leading 3-2. In case you're wondering, the guy that Gillick fired was Jimmy Williams in Toronto in '99 when he brought Cito Gaston. It was 1989, and Cito Gaston was brought in. And the starter today for the Boston Red Sox, Curt Schilling, knows how good the run was under Cito Gaston. It was Cito's Toronto Blue Jays who beat the Phillies and Schilling back in the '93 World Series.
After beating Bobby Cox and the Atlanta Braves in 1992. Home run by Joe Carter against Mitch Williams up in Toronto. And that was the game after Curt Schilling had shut out the Blue Jays for the Phillies. One of the really classic World Series performances by Schilling.
Myers' fastball misses. It's 2-1. A homer, a strikeout, a single by Gonzalez. Euclid reached on a force out on a good play by Bell. Stole second and scored on the hit by Loretta. There was no error charged on the play, by the way, and that pitch hits the outside corner. 2-2 on Ramirez.
I think errors should be awarded to outfielders when they miss the cutoff man. I think if baseball gets used to that, of course Aaron Rowan does it, a lot of guys do it, then more outfielders would hit the cutoff man.
Still 2-2. Well, most major leaguers are wrapped up in their own statistics for good reason, because they turn statistics into money. And a lot of times it's just a free throw.
Yeah.
And it's really, there's no consideration given to trying to make sure that the cutoff man has at least a chance to cut it off. This one, you could stack 18 guys on top of one another and nobody would have been able to come up with it.
Stilts wouldn't have helped.
2-2 on Manny Ramirez. 2 on, 2 out, ball 3.
Oh, good play by Fasano. Goes down with a breaking ball. Nicely done.
Cool, damp day, and this crowd is into it. The runners will go. That's Loretta at second and Ortiz at first with 2 out. Runners have to come back. A couple of long balls last night for Manny Ramirez. Up over 450 career home runs. In the top 30 of all time. Waits for another 3-2. Got him looking. Ramirez knew it. He was had by Brett Myers, and the walk to Ortiz pays off. Mike Lowell leading off, tied it. With his 8th of the year, the Red Sox now lead 3-2. Back after this from your local Fox station. Look at this, right on time. First pitch, 3rd inning. Jimmy Rollins, strike 1 on the outside corner. Jimmy bunted for a base hit his first time. Chase Utley blooped one into shallow center. Runners ended up at 2nd and 3rd on an ill-advised throw by Loretta. And Abreu drove him in with a double. The Red Sox came back with a run in the first, driven in by Ramirez, and then 2 in the second. On a home run by Lowell, and an RBI single with 2 out by Loretta. Strike 2 on Rollins. By the way, Tim, do your best to keep Dave Mellor, the head of the grounds crew, away from the umpires today. It's always a bad sign when the grounds crew guy goes out and talks to the umpires because they're talking about radars.
You're right.
That happened during the last break.
I'll do my part.
Okay. 1-2 on Rollins. Skips in from Schilling. Between innings. What are they saying? We're all hoping they're saying it's going to be fine until 6:30, 7. The weather's supposed to improve a little bit potentially tomorrow. It looked like this whole weekend was going to be a washout. 2-2 to Rollins. Little fly ball into left for Manny Ramirez. 1 out. Schilling gets the first out. How about the older guys in the league? And not just the American League. Schilling's 9-2. Lavin got number 11 last night. He's the first major leaguer to 11 wins, and Kenny Rogers. Those numbers should be reversed. Rogers, part of that first place Detroit Tigers pitching staff. And whether it's Kenny or Kurt or Tom or the Rocket, who's back with the Houston Astros, they can still do it.
Might be the oldest starting pitching matchup in All-Star game history this year if Glavine goes against Kenny Rogers.
Let's get to work on that. Let's find out. On 0-1, Utley takes another strike from Schilling. Here are the accurate numbers. Glavine with 11 wins. He's 40. Kenny Rogers up to 10, 41, pitching for Jim Leyland. And Curt Schilling has pitched certainly well enough his last two times out to have 11 himself. Bullpen blew a lead for him on Sunday night in Atlanta, but the way things have gone for the Red Sox, they came back and won it, adding to the Braves' misery. The 0-2 to Utley is in the dirt. Chase singled and scored his first time up. With 1 out and the base is empty, Utley pops one into left. Got it down off the end of the bat. It'll carry to the track. 2 out. Our Capital One trivia question. Earlier we talked about the 51 straight games without an error for Alex Gonzalez, a Red Sox shortstop, who owns the major league record for consecutive games without an error by a shortstop.
Remember, Cal Ripken committed only 3 errors in 90 or 91. I believe that still holds up. Offhand,
You'd say Ripken.
I'd say Ripken.
Abreu takes a strike. See, I try to at least think that here we are watching the Phillies play, and then that makes me think of Larry Bowa. Told that neither one of us are correct. So keep going. How about Ozzie? 0-2 on Abreu. No is the answer to that.
Fielders on artificial turf have a decided advantage. And fielders on regular grass.
Abreu's 2 for 2. You know what's sad is how many shortstops have there been in the history of Major League Baseball? I can think of like 4. Dickie Thon.
Dickie Thon's the answer?
No. Oh, just throwing out a name. Trying to think of shortstops.
Dickie Thon played on the artificial surface in Houston.
Here's Schilling's reaction after that 2-out hit by Abreu. I don't think he liked that pitch. The fiery Curt Schilling.
Yeah, I think the first time up, Abreu hit an 0-2 pitch. Second time up, he hits a 1-2 pitch. But Abreu does that. He's one of the best 2-strike hitters in the game. The guy who can fall behind and still hit a ball hard.
How about Bill Russell?
He had 9 championships for the Celtics. Oh, the other Bill Russell. Oh.
Here's a 1-0. In at the knees to the DH, Pat Burrell.
And Bill Russell, a great player for the Dodgers for so many years. Part of that infield that stayed together for 9 years. Steve Garvey, Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, and Ron Cey.
Walt Weiss.
Walter Weiss might be the answer to that.
Little play out in front of the plate. Veritek takes it. Russell won 11 championships.
11. Bill Russell, the center for the Celtics.
That's what they're saying.
Oh,
I don't know. They lied to me a lot. Bottom of the third. Boston up 3-2. Bottom of the third inning. Trot Nixon, Jason Veritek, Mike Lowell, who's homered today against Brett Myers. Strike one. 3-2. The Red Sox out in front. It was doubts about Trot Nixon that led the Red Sox to go out and make that Arroyo for Willie Mo Pena trade. And you consider what Nixon has done. He's number 5 in the American League, hitting .330. He's hit 6 home runs, driven in 39, and you can bet the style of play, the leadership ability he has, the reputation he has in this city for playing the game hard would lead the Red Sox to lean toward trying to bring him back, as he's about to become a free agent. Off the very end of the bat, still 0-2.
And he's healthy this year. He's been battling injuries the last 2 years. Lower back problems. Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins leading the league in hitting. That guy who's number 2 will probably be atop when this season ends. Ichiro.
It's too far inside for Myers. Anything more on Trot Nixon, Ken Rosenthal?
Joe, I spoke with Trot Nixon yesterday, and he told me, yes, his first choice is to stay in Boston. Obviously, he's been here his entire career. He wants to remain a Red Sox. Now, the question will come down to price, as it always does. But if he doesn't price himself out, he should be fine as far as coming back. Right now, he's got a higher on-base slugging percentage than Bobby Abreu.
You be careful over there, little Kenny. I don't want you to get hurt down there. You're in the line of fire.
I hear you, Joe.
I mean, this has been a nice addition to our crew, and I don't want to lose you with you down there in the photographer's well. Get behind a big photographer.
I will, Joe.
Can you find someone with some meat on their bones?
It was a little more dicey last week at Yankee Stadium.
Here's a pretty good pitch from Myers, who was disappointed he didn't get the call, and it's a full count.
Tell you what, Ken, you are safer with right-handed batters up there than left-handers. Because I don't think any left-hander is going to pull the ball over in that well. So right-handers, you have to be very, very careful.
That's a kiss of death, Ken. I'm just telling you. McCarver has jinxed you. I'd leave that area right now.
I'll be ducky when Mr. Ramirez comes to the plate.
That's a walk from Myers, and I guarantee you, he'll tell you the last 2 pitches, he's stunned he didn't get called for strikes. That's his 3rd walk. So the leadoff man is on, and Jason Veritek will dig in. Myers reacted after that last pitch. And this is just the way I read his body language, like he thought the home plate umpire, Bob Davidson, rung up the hitter. He started to walk away like they were going to throw it around the horn, and it was ball 4. Varitek with Nixon going, hit and run, and Varitek fouls it back. At least I think that's what I saw.
Usually if a pitcher thinks that an umpire rang up a hitter, he'll walk toward third base, and that's what Brett did.
He walked over there like it was going to go around the horn.
You're right. You're right. Almost looking for the ball from David Bell, but not to be had.
0-1 is the count on Varitek. 0-2 is the count on Varitek, who grounded out his first time. Varitek wears the C on his chest for the Red Sox. Jeter is the captain for the Yankees, and those two teams, the Red Sox and Yankees, don't meet for a while now. They don't get together until the 18th of August. Too far inside, ball 1.
I think because of the rainouts, there's a 5-game series in the middle of August between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
We've already got 4 on the schedule anyway, so add 1 to it. 5 games. That's in the dirt. 2-2. You have to believe that between the two teams, the Yankees hope to look a lot different when these two teams meet in the middle part of August than the Red Sox do. I think the Red Sox like what they have. They'll tinker with it.
Yeah, you're right.
But the Yankees need some help. 2-2.
And still lurking, only 4 games back, the Toronto Blue Jays, who have a team batting average of .297. Team batting average.
They got Burnett back.
Yep. Got him back this past week.
Good leadoff hitter in Reed Johnson. And then I think the most underrated player in baseball, Troy Glaus, during interleague play, playing shortstop. That's on the corner. Good pitch from Myers. 1 out. What does the stud closer do? The rookie, Papelbon, while he's not getting ready to pitch.
I mean, I'm not a great chess player, but play the heck out of some Scrabble. Rock, don't make me bring the Scrabble board. Rock, don't make me bring the Scrabble board to the locker room. I'll bring it.
Don't make me do it.
1 on, 1 out. The batter is Lowell. Homered his last time up. I know when you were enjoying off days, Tim, you'd play Chutes and Ladders, Candyland, various board games. But those guys are, I mean, those are like smart games, like Scrabble and chess. It's beyond me. 0-2 the count.
Well, now get my drift with this.
Uh-oh.
In Scrabble, W's are worth 4 points. S's are only worth 1 point. But as far as Papelbon is concerned, S's are worth a lot more than W's.
Folks, feel free to turn off your TVs right now. Go do something else. Good Lord.
He's trying to get into the Scrabble mode of things. Got to be flexible up here, Joey boy. I mean,
right.
if he
I knew where you were going. That's the sad.
If he continues saves up, and those are the S's we were talking about, if he continues at the pace he's got him going now, he's going to make a lot of money in this game.
Here's a pitch inside. And I said earlier, I don't know if I said it on the air or just with you and me, that he's a guy that by the end of this season, if he keeps doing what he's doing, is going to have his name thrown in that MVP race. Not just Cy Young, not just the typical pitching category, but MVP, which is what Clemens won back in '84 or '86. Here's a ground ball to the third baseman. Bell starts it, brilliantly turned. The '86 season, that frustrating year for the Red Sox, and Clemens was Cy Young / MVP. Papelbon might reached that plateau here in 2006. 3-2 Boston after 3. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? By the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. And by the power stripe from Right Guard. Right Guard right to the end of the day. 3-2. Curt Schilling and company out in front of the Phillies. And Ryan Howard waits for the first pitch here in the 4th. Ball 1. Howard, Aaron Rowand, and David DeLucci against Schilling. That's a little high again. 2-0. We had a chance to talk to Terry Francona, who has been a fantastic manager for the Boston Red Sox, managing in his 3rd year, winning a world championship in his 1st year in 04. We'll give you that interview when we get it second. Depends on what Howard does, as now the count's 2-1. We talked about it before. There were so many opportunities for Terry Francona to misstep or pull the wrong string or tap the wrong guy out of the bullpen. His handling of Schilling and Pedro in the postseason in 04. He was a big reason why the Red Sox celebrated their first championship in 86 years. 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Ryan Howard, who has a ton of power the other way. He's hit 15 of his 25 home runs to left. Full count. And if you have that kind of power the other way and you're a left-handed batter, you have to salivate at the idea of shooting at that green monster in left here in Boston. Mo Vaughn was very good at it. David Ortiz has had to develop that over the years. Ryan Howard came to the big leagues with it. That is shot into center field. Off the top of the wall as he goes the other way of sorts, and he is into second with a booming leadoff double.
That is exactly what you were talking about. Had that ball been to the right about 5 feet, it's a home run. Had he hit this ball in Philadelphia, it's a home run. But right to the left of the line, and a double for Howard. Ryan Howard with 2.5 times as many home runs as doubles and triples. It's only his 9th double of the year.
Had a triple the other night when he drove in 7 runs, all 7 runs against the Yankees, only to have his teammates, and in particular his pitching staff, give up 9 in a 9-7 loss to New York.
One of those home runs in the upper deck, they said that they estimated it at 461 feet. I don't know how they estimate things like that. But Phil Sheridan of the Philadelphia Inquirer had a great article about the people who were in that area. The person who was there was from Wilmington, Delaware, about 30 miles south of Philadelphia. He was with 9 family members, and before they left their house to go to the game, the youngsters asked the father, should we bring our gloves? He said, nah, where we're sitting, no way anybody's going to hit a ball that far.
The 0-2 pitch to third. Good pickup by Lowell on a tough hop. 1 out. What a good play by Mike Lowell with a little shuffle to his right.
That's a good play. He elects not to backhand it. Looks the runner back and throws out Rowan. And we were talking about the home run the other night. This ball died of exhaustion. Oh.
Third deck, first one to hit it there, and the Phillies organization has since paid it an H. A white H on that seat in that spot where that 461-foot home run hit. Right into the family from Wilmington.
Bill Singh and his family.
Runner at second, 1 out. DeLucci slaps at it and fouls it out of play off to the left. No balls, 2 strikes. DeLucci singled, was out stealing back in the second as he bats here in the fourth. His average at 280. That's up and away from Schilling, ball 1. Still have that Capital One trivia question hovering. And now that I see the answer, I was at least close.
I guess it's not Walt Weiss.
It's not Walt Weiss. It was close. I think he did it when he was with Baltimore. 1-2 pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I remember now. Oh, no. It wasn't Mike Gordy.
It was Mike
It
Gordy.
was Mike Gordy.
Yes. Capital One trivia question. Gonzalez has gone 51 games without an error. The major league record, Mike Bordick with 110 with Oakland. So he did do it before he got to the Orioles. He was with the Mets for a while. He was the guy that replaced Walt Weiss when Weiss moved on and went to Colorado. 2-2 now on the hitter DeLucci. This guy's hitting about 350 over his last 37 games. Because he's done most of that off the bench, it's only in 50 at bats. That's on the corner according to Bob Davidson, and out number 2. And DeLucci and Davidson get into it.
I think hitters argue about the outside strike more than any other position. And the reason is they can't hit it. If you can't reach it, then you know it's off the plate. And that's the biggest gauge that hitters have. You take thousands of swings a week, or at least a month. And you know, if you can't reach that ball outside, you're going to argue about it. And I think that was David's gauge on that fastball from Schilling that appeared to be outside.
Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire. If DeLucci's going to stand on that top step and keep giving it to him, DeLucci is going to exit this game. And David has at least gone back down into the dugout. 0-1 is the count. Runner at second. Howard, he was there with nobody out. Now he's there with 2 out. And Bell out in front hooks it foul. It's 0-2.
Here's that pitch one more time. Did it go across the front part of the plate? Well, maybe. Veritek catches the ball about 3 or 4 inches off the plate, but Schilling with enough movement on that 2-seam fastball to perhaps get the front corner.
That to me is the biggest difference. Schilling now compared to last year is the late movement that he's getting on the fastball.
I think that's well put. We had in our scouting report that he's gone from a 4-seam pitcher, 4-seam power pitcher, to that 2-seamer that runs away from left-handers. That's a splitter grip right there.
David Bell struck out his first time. Schilling has fanned 5. Ball 1. Bell is looking for his first RBI in his last 18 interleague games, including today. The 1-2. 2-2. The Red Sox in the bottom of this inning will have Crisp, Gonzalez, and Youkilis, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. And at some point, we'll give you that talk we had with Terry Francona. 2-2 to Bell. For the second time, he strikes out. For the 6th time, Schilling strikes out a Philly hitter, and off we go into the bottom of the 4th here at Fenway. Boston will bat, and they lead Philadelphia 3-2. Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Chevy, baseball's #1 fan. Chevy, an American revolution. Coco Crisp will lead off for Boston as we play here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 3-2 the Red Sox lead. And Brett Myers is back to work. He's allowed 3 runs on 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, and Crisp is one of his strikeout victims. Coco came up in the Cardinal organization, traded at the trading deadline back in 2002 to the Indians for rent-a-pitcher Chuck Finley. Had a nice run. He was not granted time, and that's a strike. Bob Davidson does not have to grant time, and he didn't.
No, he didn't grant time. And watch Crisp almost wave the bat defiantly in the face of Sal Fasano. He knew it was too late, and he gets the strike call. So Myers ahead of Crisp.
1-2 is the count. This is kind of a piece of the puzzle that hasn't been there because of injury, with a broken finger for the Red Sox, and this is a very good player. And the fans here in Boston, the diehard fans, know that from his days with the Indians, but he's kind of going through spring training a little bit as he tries to get back into game shape. He's not happy. Terry Francona's happy with the first-place Red Sox, and we had a chance to talk moments ago. Well, Terry Francona, another day, some more timely hits, a good defense. Schilling, I want to talk about Schilling. This is my first look at him. He looks like a different guy from last year. You have to be thrilled with the way he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of reinvented himself a little bit. I mean, the Schilling back with the Phillies, where he had that straight 4-seam fastball that was, 95 to 97, and he could, just go ahead and hit it. He'd live on the outside, and if you could hit it, hit it. Now he's sinking it at times. He's throwing a breaking ball, a split. He's done a great job, though, like I said, reinventing himself.
Terry, keeping with that pitcher's theme, you have to be very excited about your young pitchers.
You know what, we got a bunch, and sometimes I think there's a, and I actually talked to him the other day, because on our part, there's no trepidation about having them here. They're good, they're young, and I think they're going to help us win. We just have to, remember that there's still some development to do. We won't forget about that.
How long are you going to keep Euclid in that leadoff spot?
As long as he's got about a 450 on base, hopefully about the next 10 years.
I'm done lobbing you softballs. We'll talk to you some other day.
You don't want to talk about the other stuff?
No, I think we'll leave the other stuff. Your rookie pitcher, Papelbon's talking about playing Scrabble and chess in the bullpen. Did you play games when you weren't playing in the big leagues?
Yeah, that's all I had to do. I didn't play very much.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
That's Terry Francona before the top of this 4th, and now here in the bottom of the 4th, Euclid, the leadoff hitter for the next 10 years. Here's what the manager does. He doesn't talk about chess or Scrabble. He flosses his teeth. Come on, Terry. That's terrible. That's how small the clubhouse is here at Fenway. Manager has to floss his teeth in the dugout.
There's more and more being found out about flossing, though, Joe.
Yeah. No gingivitis for Terry Francona.
Even that it helps prevent heart attacks. Come on, let's go.
Is that true?
Yeah. Flossing, very, very healthy. Very healthy. I don't know about doing it on the game of the week.
I mean, that's what the game of the week. I mean, this used to be an institution, and now guys are flossing their teeth in the dugout, just almost doing it defiantly, like, I dare you to put me on TV while I floss my teeth. Well, you dare us, and we'll do it. Not scared of that. A 1-2 pitch to Euclid is on the outside corner, and now he doesn't like the call. That's 5 strikeouts for Myers, 2 in the inning. 5th inning rolls in. There's who's coming up. Fasano, Rollins, and Utley. 3-2 Boston. Sal Fasano swings and misses the first pitch of the 5th inning, strike 1. Schilling struck out 2 in the 4th. He has 6 strikeouts in the game. Fasano he got back in the 2nd. 3-2 Boston leading. And the 6-time All-Star Schilling brings it. It's 0-2. It was back in 2001 when Schilling finished 2nd in the Cy Young Award voting to his teammate Randy Johnson, and then as Tim referred to earlier, he and Randy Johnson split as co-MVPs for the 2001 World Series for the Diamondbacks in their 7-game terrific battle against the Yankees. That's up and in, and Fasano checked it 1-2. Not close, and Fasano tries to get on in front of Rollins and Utley. One away, 3 strikeouts in a row for Curt Schilling. We will give you our comparison of today's starters and their strike percentage. It's sponsored by AutoZone, and as far as total pitches and strikes, first pitch strikes, 11 of the 18 batters that Schilling has faced. Pitch 1 has been strike 1. 1 out here in the 5th, and Jimmy Rollins 1 for 2 steps in. Strike 1. Add another one to that list.
Yeah, there are several things about pitching that you remember, and I think perhaps the most important one that all organizations try to preach to young pitchers is throw the first pitch for a strike.
Important for any starter. Vitally important for anybody coming out of the bullpen.
Right.
0-2 from Schilling.
I'll tell you, I think for a time, Joe, in team meetings, we got caught up with this guy's a first ball hitter, that we talked pitchers out of throwing first pitch strikes, and I thought it was wrong. I didn't realize it at the time, but as time went along, I thought, now wait a minute, here we are preaching to pitchers to throw a first pitch strike, and yet we're telling them in meetings that this guy's a fastball hitter, first ball fastball hitter. So it's got to be one or the other. You want him to throw the first pitch strike, or don't you? You know?
I would think that the very bottom line, the pitcher getting out in front, is more important than
absolutely
what the hitter potentially could do with it.
Right.
He has struck out 4 in a row and 8 on the day, and putting these pitches in terrific spots.
See, the point is, when you're ahead, you can keep the ball out of the strike zone. Let's take a look at the 8 strikeouts for Schilling. Out of the strike zone, out of the strike zone, high out of the strike zone, low out of the strike zone. The called 3rd strike to DeLucci. Fastball in the strike zone, and this to Rollins, diving out of the strike zone. And the point is, when you're ahead of hitters, you can pitch like that. When you're behind, they take that pitch.
Well, those fans are behind. That had only 7 Ks. They need to add 1. Strike 1 on Utley, who's put the ball in play twice with a single and a fly out to left. One and 1. The Red Sox have won 9 of the last 11 against the Phillies. 3 of 4 this year. They had a series earlier this year in Philadelphia. They've got all 8. And evidently some extra red paint. With 2 out and nobody on, Utley, strike 2, and watch out.
Phillies, to the shock of many baseball fans, are last in the National League in hitting. Last with this lineup. They rely on the home run ball so much but they have a difficult time getting that first to third type offense that creates so many multi-run innings.
How about this run by Schilling? 5 strikeouts in a row. He gets the side here in the 5th. Halfway through it, Red Sox will bat, leading Philadelphia by 1. Fox Saturday Baseball is sponsored by Goodyear's new Eagle with Response Edge technology, by WebMD, better information, better health, and by TD Ameritrade, the independent spirit. 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Red Sox, who lead by 1. Schilling is now tied his season high with his 9 strikeouts, including 5 in a row. Meanwhile, Loretta is responsible for 2 of the 3 runs on the board for Boston. Scored the first, drove in the third, and in between, Lowell hit his 8th home run to tie the game at 2. That was back in the 2nd. So 2 for 2. Ball 2, 2-1. Off the end of the bat, 2-2. Time now for the Avidart in-game box score for Boston. Euclid has scored a run. Loretta, his 2 hits. Ortiz with a single and a walk, a sac fly for Ramirez. Lowell, the solo home run, and Alex Gonzalez is 1 for 2. 2-2 pitch. Loretta hitting .311, keeps it 2-2.
That's a mark of a hitter that can keep his mark above 300. A guy who continues to foul off hit pitchers' pitches. Those last 2 sliders were nasty from Myers, but Loretta's still alive.
And he hits a mistake. The pitch was up. Loretta strokes it into left, and he's on to start the 5th inning for Boston.
The pitch before the base hit was that slider just off the plate away. So he fought it off and waited for a pitch that he could handle. 3 hits today for Mark Loretta.
A lifetime .301 hitter, and that's big when you've got Ortiz and Ramirez to follow. David Ortiz takes a ball.
Love the nuances of hitters. After every called strike or ball, Ortiz will tuck the bat under the right arm, spit in the right hand, slap the gloves together, and get the bat ready for the next pitch.
That's on the corner. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, he didn't tuck it like tucking an umbrella under your right arm. Usually it's that nuance of David Ortiz. I'll tell you, his nuance when he swings the bat and hits the ball hard has thrilled these Fenway faithful fans the last 3 years.
That's down and away. How did the guy we are looking at, David Ortiz, as a younger player but a major leaguer, get released by the Minnesota Twins
in 2002 and picked up by the Red Sox for $1.5 million?
Now one of the most feared hitters in the game.
I don't know, Joe. Terry Ryan, the general manager of the Twins, says that it was his worst decision of his tenure.
I just remember at the time they talked about, well, he doesn't have any power. He went from 58 home runs, 97 to 02 to 140. This is coming here to Boston. Should be a double play. 5, 6, 3. From Bell, playing a typical shortstop position, even up the middle. to Rollins, the shortstop, covering for the double play. So the guy who leads the major leagues in RBIs since coming to the Red Sox grounds into the rare 5-6-3 double play. Here's Ramirez with the bases empty. Ball one. It is hard to believe, and you were going down this path, I think, last half inning. The Phillies were hitting that when you write down this lineup, Rollins to Utley to Abreu to Burrell to Howard, Rowan, DeLucci, Bell, that this team is struggling so mightily and falling out of any semblance of a race in the NL East. And then you think about their pitching. They've got Cole Hamels, a young left-hander who they love. They've got this guy who's got, as you said, front of the rotation stuff. Lieber is on his way back, and they hope that Randy Wolf will be back just after the All-Star break.
There's Cole Hamels, the talented young left-hander. We talked about this when the Phillies played the Atlanta Braves last year, about how the Phillies have been battling over the last 5 years that scourge of sameness. It's the same look. It's the same way they go about trying to score runs. And that, I think, is what Pat Gillick's major challenge is going to be, to change that for the Phillies. Their parts are good, but their parts as a group are not as good as they should be.
So far, it's translated into a record of 3 games under 500 and 11 games out behind the Mets. In 2006, that is a check swing. He didn't go, and a full count on Manny Ramirez.
Manny held up.
Phillies with only 9 home games in June have not been doing well, as that graphic indicates. And maybe the most surprising team on there is the team at the top, the Florida Marlins. The stripped down payroll of roughly $15 million Florida Marlins.
If Joe Girardi is not the manager of the year, he's in the top 2 or 3. Talking about that scourge of sameness with the Phillies, for sake of comparison, look at the Red Sox and look how different they are this year than they were 2 years ago when they won the World Championship.
A 2-out walk, and that's 4 walks on the day from Myers. However, they have that combination of Ortiz and Ramirez that was front and center in 04.
And the young pitching that we've talked about earlier.
Pitching coach for Charlie Manuel is Rich Doobie. And Jeff Geary is going to start to loosen up. Ken, I know you're down there listening to our conversation and what we're saying about this Phillies team. If you had to, I guess, handicap who could end up being used as trade bait, who jumps out at you from the Phillies to try to change what's going on?
Abreu, Joe, without question. And they've been trying to trade him since last offseason. Remember, he was in discussions for Tejada, for Manny Ramirez, for Mark Pryor. There are all kinds of possibilities, but the Phillies could never get the deal done. Talking about trading Abreu is talking about doing exactly what you guys say, changing the look of the franchise. They want to get more tough-minded. Guys like Utley, Aaron Rowan, and by trading Abreu and getting the pitching back, they think that could happen.
1 ball, 1 strike on Trot Nixon.
Money is certainly not insignificant, nor is it ever insignificant, because Abreu, surprisingly, is due $15 million next year if he stays with the Phillies. And that's certainly a big consideration.
13 this year, 15 next year. And Ken, how about a name like DeLucci or even Burrell? I've read some reports where Burrell pops up on potential guys you could get. The 2-1 pitch. Nixon with a base hit into left field, which will give Ken a chance to talk about Pat Burrell. Kenny?
Very similar in that they've got no trade clauses and a lot of money coming. Now remember, in the offseason, the Phillies traded Tomey to the White Sox, and they included $22 million in that deal. The only real way to trade an Abreu or a Burrell and get quality back is to pay some money. And they've already done that once, and they might have given the White Sox the American League MVP. It's going to be difficult for them to do it again.
Now Rich Doobie will pay a visit to Brett Myers, who had 2 out, nobody on, walked Ramirez. Nixon with a floater base hit. He's on base for the 3rd time with 2 walks and a single. And now Varitek will be the hitter. Isn't it amazing, Ken, the difference between National League Baseball and American League Baseball? We go around and see all these games. I mean, the American League is so far superior right now, and I guess it's hard to explain why.
I think the offense in the American League is just such a different animal than the offense in the National League. We're talking about the 8-9 hitters in the National League. In the American League, you'll go 1 to 9. The best teams, Red Sox, Yankees, White Sox, Indians, they have deep lineups, and they wear out pitchers, and in the interleague games, it really shows.
2 on, 2 out. And a breaking ball is low to Varitek.
You have no break in the American League. You can't work a lineup. You can't say if you get the 8th place hitter, you have the pitcher leading off the next inning. Very, very important. The ability to work a lineup.
Varitek 1-1. I think what interleague play has done the last couple of years is prove to some National League teams you may be good enough to win your division, but come the end of October when you're matched up against the best of the American League, good luck.
Yeah, I agree.
Ramirez and Nixon, the runners. 1-1 pitch is outside, and Myers is maybe 1 base runner away from exiting this game, which any starting pitcher in a 1-run game in the 5th inning, in the middle of an inning, wants no part of. He's got to get it back together if he wants a shot at winning this afternoon game at Fenway. And that might do it. Rollins feeds Utley, who gets to the bag in front of Nixon, and the inning is over. 2 left in the inning, 6 on the day for the Red Sox. 6th inning rolls in. Part of the order coming up for the Phillies, down 1. Abreu will try to get something going for the Phillies in the 6th inning against Schilling, who has been fantastic the last few frames. Only guy who's done anything of any meaning against Schilling is a guy at the plate with a 2-run double back in the 1st. This time Abreu takes low for ball 1. Abreu, Burrell, and Howard. It's only a 1-run game. It doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't.
Because of the pitching of Schilling over the last 3 frames. That's on the inside corner, a ball and a strike.
I think one of the reasons it does not feel like it is with the 1-run lead, Schilling can be dominating.
Struck out 9 against the Devil Rays at the end of April. 9 today. They really fooled Abreu there, and it's strike 2.
Good splitter. Thing about, like all good pitchers, pitching is the art of fooling the hitter. When he's looking for a fastball, don't throw it.
Can Schilling get it to 10? Can Abreu get it started for the Phillies? 2-2. One thing Schilling or any pitcher knows this season more than last, or really any other in recent memory for the Red Sox, if he can get the hitter to put the ball in play, especially across this infield defense, guys are going to catch it behind him and make plays to help him.
Come on, Kurt, here we go, buddy. Strike him out.
A total of only 23 errors for this Red Sox team, and around the infield you've got Lowell, who has only 4. Alex Gonzalez, a shortstop, who has 1. Loretta, the second baseman, has 3, and Euclid, of all guys to lead the infield, who is in his first year at first base, has 5. Ten fewer errors than the next closest team in Major League Baseball for the Red Sox here on the 24th of June. And there's another strikeout for Schilling, number 10. Our chance to look at this defense for Boston. From Lowell, crisp in the outfield. Loretta. That even turns into a play from Gonzalez, who's been phenomenal. I don't like to see that. Euclid, the former third baseman, and by far the fewest errors in the major leagues. You have to go back to 1950, the last time the Red Sox, the end of a season, could make that claim, leading the major leagues in fewest errors.
Hall of Famer Bobby Doerr was the second baseman to anchor that infield.
Fly ball into left field. Burrell didn't get it all, and Ramirez along the wall makes the catch for round number 2. Told you about the great defense, and we didn't even have Manny in that pack.
No. That's a good play by Manny Ramirez. Only a couple of feet in foul territory here at Fenway Park. Manny Ramirez up with the right foot to make the play, and that brought a smile to Curt Schilling's face. There's no way that you can work on a catch like that.
No.
Right
If you can, whoever's hitting the fungos to get it into that spot should be paid a multi-million-dollar 6-year deal. Whatever coach can figure that out. With 2 out and nobody on, Howard could tie it with 1 swing. Strike 1. How could we have left Manny Ramirez out of the highlight package of the great defensive plays for the Red Sox this year?
You want defense? We got defense.
0-1 the count on Howard. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1950 infield for the Red Sox. That's how they lined up. 111 combined errors for the Red Sox, the fewest in the major leagues back in 1950. Third place team that year. 111 errors seems like a lot of errors to lead the major leagues.
Funny, that year, while the Red Sox were finishing 3rd to the Yankees, the Philadelphia Phillies were winning the National League pennant on the last day of the season when Dick Sisler hit a home run. 3-run shot in Brooklyn. And the Whiz Kids played the Yankees and lost 4 in a row in the World Series.
Check swing ground ball to the shortstop. Gonzalez on the other side of the bag. Manny Ramirez along the line with a catch. He stuck the landing. 3-2 after 5.5 at Fenway. Bottom of the 6th inning, and a new pitcher for Philadelphia. Jeff Geary takes over for Brett Myers, who went 5, allowed 3 runs, 7 hits. Walked 4, struck out 5, allowed a home run to the guy at the plate, Mike Lowell, who takes a strike from Geary. This has been a good bullpen for the Phillies. But right now it is a worn out bullpen for the Phillies. Geary has had a lot of work. Lowell up to .313 with his average as he takes another strike, and he didn't like either pitch. Bob Davidson has heard plenty all day.
And when he's heard from the hitters, usually it hasn't been up and down, it's been away.
Don't say it, Mike. Is that a strike 2? Ball 1. Lowest bullpen earned run average across the National League, and they're the Phillies number 3, and they are anchored by the former Boston Red Sox starter and closer, Tom Gordon. Ooh, that was the best pitch of the 3. 2-2. The next to Lowell is chopped at and fouled off to the right. Lowell, Crisp, and Gonzalez for the Red Sox, who are trying to win their 8th in a row. And there is Tom Gordon, who has been anything but a disappointment in his first year closing for the Phillies. That ERA, 20 saves. Still 2-2.
Tom Gordon certainly a pitcher to be considered for the All-Star game in Pittsburgh on July 11th. And by the way, we checked with Stats Inc. in talking about Kenny Rogers and Tommy Glavine. If they start that game, good chance they may, then they will be by far the oldest pitchers ever to start an All-Star game by over 5 years. The oldest to start an All-Star game back in 2001 when Roger Clemens faced Randy Johnson. The total age was 76 years and change. Rogers and Glavine would be 81 years and change. So a 5-year difference.
Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Good battle here from Lowell as he's run the count full. Little fly ball into right center field, and Abreu hauls it in. One down in the bottom of the 6th. Kids, be happy. School is out. Our Pepsi fan camp. And 1 out and nobody on. Batter is Coco Crisp, and he takes a strike over the outside corner from Geary. That is headed out of play and will end up there 0-2. As Crisp is now set up for his 3rd strikeout of the day. How about the week Ozzie Guillen has had? Making the comment he did about Jay Mariotti getting into trouble for it, and then last night being quoted on ESPN Deportes as saying, I don't think I'll be going to sensitivity training.
No, which is an insensitive remark, as it is.
To the right side, and Utley takes care of Crisp, who's 0 for 3. And with 2 out and nobody on, Gonzalez is coming up. Ozzie Guillen will be managing the American League All-Stars when we convene on the 11th of July. And Ken Rosenthal, I know you're listening down there, that he just can't seem to stay out of the headlines. I don't think he minds it. I think sometimes he does it and tries to make headlines with what he says, as that one's chopped foul. But at some point, enough's enough with all this stuff. Oh, and 1 is the count on Alex Gonzalez. Ken, do you know of anything or any reaction to what Ozzie Guillen was quoted as saying? Evidently, we're having technical difficulties. We'll go to him next inning and ask him about Ozzie Guillen. I'm sure whatever he had to say was fantastic. Ken, save it. We'll use it next inning. Guillen is jamming our transmission. Ken Rosenthal's wireless mic down the right side of this field. Gonzalez takes a ball, and it's 1-2.
I understand Ozzie Guillen speaks sometimes without thinking, and without thinking of the impact that it's going to have. But our experience with him last year during the World Series and relationship with him last year taught us that he does not have a legitimately mean bone in his body.
But some of that stuff he says without thinking and outside of the baseball, I'm getting worn out by. 3-2. Curt Schilling is pitching into the 7th inning. Rowan, DeLucci, and Bell. Anybody gets on, Sal Fasano. It's 3-2 Boston, and Rowan, who has struck out once, 1 of the 10 on the day for Schilling, goes after one out of the strike zone, strike one. Alex Cora takes over at second base, so Loretta has the rest of the day off, and there's action for the Red Sox out in their bullpen. Loretta was 3 for 3 while he was in there, and Rowan takes a ball up and away. Ken Rosenthal is back with us. It was a faulty battery, Ken. So don't let that happen again. Just bring a AA battery with you down there next time we have a game like next Saturday, and we'll talk to you about Ozzie Guillen after Rowan does something, and he is set up at 1-2. Why not now? What do you think about this whole Ozzie Guillen thing and about the punishment handed down by Bud Selig?
Joe, the punishment was flimsy, and Bud Selig could have gone further with this. I think NBA Commissioner David Stern would have gone further over a similar type of slur. But Ozzie, to me, has always been such a volatile guy. He's not going to last that long. He's essentially Billy Martin without the booze. And guys like that can be very effective short term. They're very effective when their teams are winning. But at some point, either his players are going to get tired of him, or he's going to do something so outrageous it's going to cause the White Sox, I believe, to do something.
Tim, you were saying going to break, and I agree with you that for the most part he's a guy that shoots from the hip, and a lot of that stuff can be refreshing, but sometimes there's too much, and it's not just this example, but there have been things over the years that, as Schilling is out of the way of it, and Cora fresh into the game, can't get it to first in time. Rowan, the tying run is on to start the 7th.
Fine play by Joey Cora through the wickets of Curt Schilling, and an infield hit by Rowan. Now, he is Billy Martin without the booze, but he's also Billy Martin without the political correctness that is necessary for managers in this day and age, for any of us. I'm not condoning what he said to Jay Mariotti. Some of this after a while, I mean, we were in Ozzie Guillen's office last year in postseason, and we know how much he dislikes Jay Mariotti. It was very, very personal, that remark that he made, and perhaps because of the type of remark that he made in describing Mariotti, a slur, was one of the reasons that, I mean, people could read the vindictiveness into it, and he didn't care when he said it.
I think everything I've read from Ozzie Guillen is his issue with Jay Mariotti, Ken, is that Mariotti doesn't show up enough, and he writes what he writes from a distance and doesn't show his face in the clubhouse enough or at all, according to Ozzie Guillen, and that's what upsets him most. I know you run into that as a writer and a long-time writer in big league baseball. There's a base hit into right center field, and that's going to send Rowan to third. Tying run is there on a base hit by DeLucci. First and third, nobody out. You got to show up and show your face and answer to some of the stuff that you throw out there as a writer, don't you?
Joe, absolutely right. And as a columnist, that's one of the first things you learn. If you rip somebody, you've got to be there the next day as soon as the clubhouse opens to take whatever medicine is going to be administered. And it's not comfortable. I've had a lot of sleepless nights over it myself, but it is basically a cardinal rule of what we do. So I believe that Ozzie has a legitimate point, but the word he chose is the whole problem here. And when he says, well, that's a word we use in Venezuela, he's been here long enough to know the difference.
And he's a very smart man and somebody who, you know, a lot of the things get written off, oh, he just said it off the cuff. You know, you're just supposed to dismiss it, and I don't buy that. I don't buy that from Ozzie Guillen. He's smarter than that. First and third, nobody out, and David Bell checks his swing. Did not go, says first base umpire Dale Scott. Ball one. First and third, nobody out, and Curt Schilling is in a rare jam. Here's an opportunity for the Phillies, who have trailed since the second inning, to jump back out in front. They've got the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at first, and nobody out. 2-0. Left-hander Javier Lopez has been getting loose for the Red Sox in their bullpen. 113 pitches for Schilling. Manny Del Carmen is the right-hander out there. Here's a 2-0. 3-0. He has struck out 10. He has walked nobody. He's allowed 2 runs on 8 hits. In trouble here in the 7th. Three and 1. Leadoff hit by Rowan. DeLucci shot one into right center field. Hard hit through the infield. Base running by Rowan sent him to third, and now David Bell, who does not have an RBI in his last 18 interleague games, could tie this game. Instead, he walks, and the bases are loaded, and we'll see if that's it for Schilling. First walk of the day by Schilling. No sign from Francona that he's going to go get him. Now Veritek's going to walk out and talk.
Well, the old school line of thinking with a guy like Schilling is Kurt would say, don't have anybody, particularly a second line pitcher, to come in and clean up my mess. If I can't clean it up, it's not going to be cleaned up. They're going to take the lead. And I think Francona would allow Schilling's thinking to take place, and I was dead wrong.
Well,
he's gone.
He's going to go. I was going to say he might go out there and ask, but with the pitch count right around 115 for the day.
Yeah.
Here on the 24th of June. This is in October. He's going to go to the bullpen. Top of the 7th inning, bases loaded. What a golden opportunity for the Phillies. Nobody out. Red Sox leading 3-2, and they go to the bullpen. The hard-throwing right-hander Manny Del Carmen takes over. ERA up over 5, and Shane Victorino is going to come off the bench and bat with the bases loaded, nobody out, ball 1. Victorino is batting for Fasano, who is 0 for 2. Shane, who's hitting .316 overall and did well when he took over for Aaron Rowan when he went on the DL with a broken nose. Bases loaded, nobody out. And a line drive for out number 1. Bad break for Victorino, who hit it hard, but right at Gonzalez, 1 away. Jimmy Rollins is coming up. He had this to say on that base hit by DeLucci that set up first and third.
Atta baby. Come on, Ro. Come on, Ro. Atta baby. Leave the man there in too long. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. In too long, baby.
Wearing a microphone for us, talking about Schilling, who had given up a hit to Rowan, then the hit to DeLucci, then the walk to Bell. Now Rollins takes 94-mile-an-hour fastball for ball 1. Here's one of the young pitchers that you were talking about with Terry Francona. Makes up this good Red Sox bullpen.
I think that expression about electric stuff came up. It's cropped up over the last 5 years, and it absolutely describes this young right-hander. Great arm. The one problem, and that's, I was going to say, why I'm surprised that Terry Francona brought him in with the bases loaded as opposed to start the inning, is that he can be wild. And he can be wild high, as he has been to Rollins with the first 2 pitches.
Craig Hansen is getting loose along with the left-hander Javier Lopez in the Red Sox pen. Rollins rips one into right field, a base hit. It's a tie game. Everybody moves up one station as Rollins delivers for Philadelphia. He scores Rowan, and it's 3-3.
This is the type of inning we alluded to a couple of innings ago that really mysterious about the Phillies offense, why they can't have more of these types innings. And Rollins with a key hit. So this game is tied.
Now Francona is going to go back to his bullpen. He's got Lopez, the lefty, with Chase Utley coming up. And here with the bases loaded and one down in a tie game, Del Carmen gets a pat on the back. Lopez is coming in. Utley's coming up with a chance to put the Phillies back on top. Javier Lopez, the left-hander, takes over, the submarine-style left-hander, a guy that the Red Sox just picked up from the White Sox for David Risky, who's been busy for the White Sox. And with the bases loaded, one down, here is Utley, who could put the Phillies on top. 3-3 in the seventh, and Utley takes a strike and a pitch diving down and away. It has been wide, wider, and widest for the strike zone from Bob Davidson today.
That could be a big break for the Red Sox to get that one strike call, that first strike on the first pitch.
Utley grounds one to short. A two-hopper for a 6-3 double play. The Red Sox had been missing a presence in their bullpen like Javier Lopez, and they're standing leading the applause for Lopez is Curt Schilling. It's a tie game and time to stretch here at Fenway Park. Here. Fox Saturday Baseball sponsored by Flomax, by Holiday Inn, the official hotel of Major League Baseball, and by GMC, engineered to the highest standard, professional grade. First pitch to Euclid, top of the order for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the seventh. He pops it up to the second baseman, Utley, who has still got to be thinking about the chance he just had. Chris Costi takes over behind the plate, and Utley, who made that first play, is the one who hauls in the first out here in the bottom of the seventh inning. Take a look back at our Pepsi double play. It came off Utley's bat. Bases loaded, one out. Tie game moments ago. And this one that led Gonzalez right to the bag. Don't forget to go to foxsports.com and play the Pepsi double game. Charlie Manuel has gone to the mound. He is going to call on his bullpen. One out, nobody on here in the bottom of the seventh, a tie game. And Real Cormier coming in. Former Boston Red Sox left-hander, now long time with the Phillies, Real Cormier here in the bottom of the seventh, one out, nobody on, and his first opponent is Alex Cora. Shows bunt, takes a strike over the outside corner. Cora, then David Ortiz. At the moment, each bullpen is quiet. The numbers for Cormier, who is just one of those very good, dependable, often used left-handers, as he misses up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cora's first at bat. Alex taking over for Mark Loretta, who was in this number 2 spot. 3 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. On the corner, 1-2. Catcher now is Chris Coast for Philadelphia. Batting the number 9 spot, Victorino was, who hit for Fasano. Here's a 1-2 to Cora. 2-2. Cora has been a very usable and valuable piece to this mix in the middle infield for Terry Francona. Cormier had him out in front, changed speeds on him, 2 out. Our Flomax game summary is we are just past the top of the hour, 4:05 Eastern. Abreu a 2-run double in the first. Lowell hit a home run to tie the game in the second. Then the Red Sox took the lead. Schilling took over with his 10 strikeouts, a season high, but ran out of gas in the top of this seventh with his pitch count well up over 100. The 2 out, nobody on. Here's Ortiz, and there's strike 1.
Joe, this would be one situation where the Phillies could employ the same defense that Joe Madden of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. What Joe Madden does, he moves the shortstop to the outfield, and in effect it's 3 on the right side of the infield and 4 outfielders. This could be a good chance with 2 out in a tie game in the 7th inning to employ that type defense.
You'd almost call it a 3-4 defense.
Yeah, 3-4. 3 on the right side of the infield and 4 in the outfield, because the thing you're trying to guard against right now is the extra base hit.
1-1 on Ortiz, who hops out of there. David has singled, been intentionally walked, and bounced into a double play. Charlie Manuel on your left. He's the manager for the Phillies, trying to win the 2nd game of this series with a rubber game coming up tomorrow. The 1-1. Too tight. Tim Wakefield will take on Corey Lytle in the finale of this set tomorrow afternoon. Then the Mets will come to town, and on Wednesday, Pedro Martinez will be back here at Fenway Park to take on Boston. When the Mets are here this upcoming week, the Red Sox and Mets will in essence celebrate the anniversary of that matchup back in 1986. Hard to believe it'll be 20 years since that 7-game World Series. Ortiz out in front, pops it up. Good work by Cormier. Utley is out. He's there and has it as the wind brings it back. We go to the 8th. Here at Fenway Park, Phillies will have Abreu, Burrell, and Howard. Big bats coming up. Tie game. 8th inning of a 3-3 game, and the Phillies bat. Heart of the order for Philadelphia. That means Abreu, Burrell, and Howard. And back to work is a left-hander, Javier Lopez. He hits the outside corner with a strike, and Bobby Abreu is thinking as he walks out of the batter's box by about 10 feet. I have now seen firsthand the strike zone that my teammates have been complaining about all afternoon.
Not only his teammates, but Mike Lowell of the Red Sox, and even Curt Schilling, the starter today.
Abreu chops it to first. It stays fair somehow, and that's 1 out. Next week, Fox Saturday Baseball. Tim and I will be in New York for the rematch of the Mets and Yankees. This one is at Yankee Stadium. The Astros and Rangers, White Sox, Cubs. A lot of intrastate, sometimes intra-city rivalries next week, 1 Eastern, with our pregame show. Nice work by Lopez, who got 3 outs by getting 2 batters. Utley in the double play, ground out with the bases loaded. And then Abreu to start this 8th. Back to the bullpen goes Terry Francona. Another one of the young members of this Red Sox bullpen, Craig Hansen, takes over. He's back up from AAA. And he's another example of guys who are closers in college that have 2 very good pitches that can shoot right to the big leagues. Hansen was a closer at St. John's. Pitched briefly in the minor leagues, a first-round pick last year, last June, and as you can see, he can bring it. And if they do ever decide to move Papelbon back into the rotation, we're looking at the guy who might succeed Papelbon as a closer for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, that's an interesting and accurate point as Papelbon loosens for the Sox.
This is why a manager likes to split up left-handers and right-handers. A lefty, Abreu. Now the right-handed presence of Pat Burrell, so Terry Francona goes to the bullpen and selects Hansen with the lefty Howard on deck. The 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. This guy got up at the end of the season last year for the September call-ups, got into 4 games. He's been used as a starter and a reliever at AAA Pawtucket this year. Top of the 8th, tie game, and Burrell, strike 2. 2-2.
Joe mentioned a two-pitch pitcher. What are they? A fastball and a good slider. That was the slider that Burrell fouled off at last pitch.
Glen Cove, New York. Full count with the outstanding Ryan Howard on deck. Major league leader in RBIs. And about as cool as they come for a second-year player.
He certainly is.
Three-2 to Burrell. There it is. 96.
We talked about the great young arms in the Red Sox bullpen, along with John Lester, one of their starters who's won 2 straight. Hansen may have the best arm of any of the youngsters. I don't think he's the best pitcher. Papelbon is. But he just blew Burrell away with that 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
On a borderline pitch. Well, Bob Davidson, the home plate umpire, has proven that if it's reachable, it's a strike. And with 2 out, here's Ryan Howard. Good matchup. Strike 1. This guy rocketed a double high off the wall in left center field in his second at bat. Halfway to a Phillies single season record for home runs. It was held by Schmidt, who hit 48 in 1980. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down the right field line. That ball will take 3 or 4 bounces. Nixon gets it back in, and the go-ahead run is at second with 2 out on a double by Ryan Howard.
I don't know if you folks know how difficult that pitch is to hit. That is a crowded slider right in on the hands. And Howard, with tremendous bat speed, rifles one down the right field line for a double. That is a very difficult pitch for a left-handed hitter to handle. That ball in on the hands and at the belt.
Last night hitless, today a pair of doubles for Howard, and he's out there with 2 down for Aaron Rowand, who could put Philadelphia back out in front. They lost their lead in the second. They just tied it in the top of the 7th, and here they are in the top of the 8th with a chance. Ball 1. Rowand 1 for 3. Almost hit by it. It's 2-0. Hansen on a list of 3 guys that come to mind who pitched in college, were closers, and shot right to the big leagues. Chad Cordero, Cal State Fullerton, pitched for Montreal in 2003 after he was a first-round pick. Joey Devine out of NC State for Atlanta last year. Now it's Hansen. St. John's University missing with ball 3, 3-0. On deck is DeLucci. Word from the Red Sox, Loretta came out of this game. He's day-to-day with a mild neck strain. So Cora's at second, watching a 3-0 pitch coming to Aaron Rowand. 3-1. Hansen is ready for a 3-1 to Rowand. A walk to put 2 on. And Francona's going to go back to his bullpen.
Hanson missing outside with the fastball, and it's quite unusual for Terry Francona to bring Jonathan Papelbon into a tie game, but keep this in mind, Papelbon hasn't pitched since last Sunday.
2 on, 2 out in a 3-3 game, and a closer coming in. Jonathan Papelbon comes in with 2 on, 2 out, tie game, 8th inning. As you said, the luxury the Red Sox have is that he has not had any work this week, so they can extend him in what is now a tie game. 2 on, 2 out, and DeLucci trying to put the Phillies on top. Amazing numbers for this rookie.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. He's stranded 11 of 12 inherited runners, and he's given up only 1 earned run in 35 2/3 innings. He has been spectacular.
DeLucci is 2 out of 3 today. Papelbon across the big leagues is number 2 in saves, number 1 in ERA among relievers of 0.25, number 2 in opponent's batting average, number 1 in walks per 9 innings, and number 1 in strikeouts, rather base runners per 9 innings. And he has overpowering stuff. 2 on, 2 out. Oh, 2.
Two fastballs to DeLucci. By the way, the K in Scrabble is worth 5 points.
That's what Papelbon's looking for, and for the Phillies looking for that precious 2-out RBI go-ahead hit from DeLucci. The 25-year-old Jonathan Papelbon. Saturday Baseball sponsored by Pepsi Complete. Turn a fast and long-lasting double play against heartburn. By Bank of America, keep the change only from Bank of America, the easy way to help you save. By Burger King, it reminds you to have it your way. Arthur Rhodes takes over on the mound for the Phillies. Bottom of the 8th. This foggy, rainy, cold afternoon at Fenway. And Manny Ramirez digs his way in.
Hey, if I'm Charlie Manuel, I would not like this matchup. Arthur Rhodes against Manny Ramirez. He's 4 for 10 lifetime with a home run. More importantly, Ramirez is hot. And it's tough for Rhodes to throw a ball anywhere from the middle of the plate into this guy right now. So therefore, he's got to stay away. And the problem with that is you miss too many times staying away.
This is one of those matchups with Rhodes starting this inning that if it doesn't work out for the Phillies, Charlie Manuel will have one question after another after the game as to why he wanted Arthur Rhodes in this spot the lefty against the power-hitting right-handed Manny Ramirez. Forget Nixon on deck and Varitek to follow. Here's the matchup that could lose the game for you. Four runs on 3 hits. Rhodes gave up on Tuesday against the Yankees, that game that Ryan Howard drove in all 7 runs in a 9-7 Philadelphia loss. That hits the corner. Ramirez looks back at Davidson. Those two talk. It's 2-1. All those runs came in the 8th inning as the Yankees took 2 of 3 from the Phillies. Two and two. If you're the Phillies, this is one of those hold your breath matchups with the left-handed hitting Trot Nixon on deck.
I couldn't agree more.
He hit 2 home runs last night. He's hit 20 on the season. He's on his way to his 9th straight 30-plus home run, 100-plus RBI season. Just inside, full count.
After going away 4 times, Rhodes tries to come in and misses.
A leadoff walk. And a tie game in the bottom of the 8th. Time for the Holiday Inn Look Again play of the game, brought to you by Holiday Inn, official hotel of Major League Baseball. As it stands right now, game-tying hit, and one of the biggest swings of the day to this point for the Phillies, Jimmy Rollins, with the bases loaded single to right. Bad news for the Phillies, he hit it so hard only 1 run could score, and then a double play followed, and we're still 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Here is Nixon.
No sacks on the year.
Nixon started the day hitting .330, 5th best average in the league. And he has 2 walks and a hit today.
Of course, the Red Sox have sacrificed only 8 times this year. That's 2nd fewest in the American League. And for the most part, Rhodes is rather true to a left-handed hitter. He doesn't drop down. He doesn't make you bail over the top. He certainly throws hard. So if Nixon puts it into play, I would think it would be to the left side of the field.
Double play ball to Utley. Rollins in the middle, 4-6-3, 2 out. A little trouble getting the ball out of his glove into second on the part of Utley, but he did it with plenty of time to spare, and the double play will bring Varitek up with the bases empty.
So Nixon does pull the ball, and I think Utley got it hung up in the web a bit. And Jimmy Rollins finishes it.
Now Varitek is 0 for 3. To the shortstop, Rollins stays down on it. And this game goes into the 9th inning at Fenway Park on this Saturday, tied at 3. And a soundbite that'll make all catchers smile. Jonathan Papelbon in the bullpen earlier talking just about the situation with his catcher and the way he gives signs.
Just by the way he gives his signals, you can tell that something like he's running through, the process is going in his mind, and he's looking at where he's digging in, and then he's looking, he's thinking, and then he throws. You know that signal that he just gave, there's an entire reasoning behind it. So that, therefore, instills confidence into me because now I can deliver the pitch with confidence.
There's a fly ball into center field off the bat of Bell. 1 pitch, 1 out in the 9th, and I know that that's something that's not lost on you. Papelbon talking about his catcher, the captain of this Red Sox team, and just the physical manner with which he gives a sign gives the pitcher confidence that it's the right pitch to throw.
It's such a lucid point because I think what Jonathan was saying is that Varitek gives the sign with such conviction that it gives him confidence that it's the right pitch to throw. If you put down tentative fingers, you'll get a tentative pitch. Never with Varitek.
Here's Chris Coast, the catcher, who bats with 1 out, nobody on. Coast and then Rollins. In the bottom of the 9th, the Red Sox will have the bottom 3 in their lineup: Lowell, Crisp, and Gonzalez. Papelbon came on with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th and struck out DeLucci.
Might be thinking at home, well then what exactly are tentative fingers? They're fingers that go down where you're really not sure. The mind is telling the hand you're not sure this might be the right pitch. Then again, it may not. But when you put them down here, fastball away, that's what I want.
And a smash into left center field. A line drive base hit by Coast. And he's on with 1 out here in the 9th. How many times have we seen those shots of Varitek looking up at the hitter while he gives the sign, as he does here? Calls for a fastball away, and it results in a hit by Coast.
I don't think anybody prepares for a game any more intelligently or diligently than Jason Varitek.
1 on, 1 out. Jimmy Rollins now back to the top of the lineup, and Rollins, who tied this game with a hit in the 7th and who has 9 home runs. Takes a ball. Rollins 2 hits, 4 at bats, an RBI, a run scored. Had a 38-game hitting streak come to a close game 3 of the season in Philadelphia against St. Louis at the start of the year. 2-0 from Papelbon. Papelbon hasn't been at it at the big league level long. But there are some big league closers, no matter how good they are, that when you bring them in a situation where they're not coming in to get the save, but instead just coming in to try to keep it tied, they're not right. We saw that earlier in the year with Billy Wagner of the New York Mets in a non-save situation, and the examples of that, you could go on for days. Papelbon is only out there to try to keep it 3-3, which is what it was when he entered in the 8th.
Billy Wagner with his 4th blown save this week for the Mets.
Former Philly. Now it's 2-2 on Rollins.
This looked like a slider. Slider or splitter. Ball really went down with that late movement. Fastball away.
And Rollins hits it in the air to deep left field. This ball is off the monster. Digging around third is Coast. They're going to hold him there on a double by Jimmy Rollins. Coast is the only catcher left. They couldn't pinch run for him after his 1-out single here in the 9th. And so he, who does not run well, has to try and score on this ball hit off the green monster by Rollins.
Delayed somewhat by the, look at Coco Crisp and how he put the glove up, the decoy, trying to make Coast think that he had a shot at catching the ball in the air. Coast slowed down momentarily. Here it is right there. Watch Coast look up at momentary delay right there before going into second base. Had he been going all out, I don't think he scores anyway, but still a good play by Coco Crisp.
Now the infield has to creep in. Second and third, 1 out. And Utley could deliver the key hit. Utley was up with the bases loaded and one out in the 7th in this 3-3 game and bounced into a 6-3 double play. The second baseman, who basically chased Placido Polanco out of town, who's starring now for the Tigers. The second and third, one out. To the shortstop, Gonzalez coming home. Play at the plate. 2 out. Utley misses another chance on a fielder's choice 6-2.
I think it's a situation, too, where Jimmy Rollins has got to know the runner's trying to score. Jimmy Rollins staying at second base and coasting easy out. The reason you send the runner there is because you're taking a chance to score a run, obviously. And the worst that can happen, you end up with runners at first and third. Had Rollins run, he may have drawn a throw to third base. But Jimmy staying at second base, not a good play.
Now it's first and second, 2 out for Abreu. More frustration for the Phillies. Abreu takes a ball. So 5 runners on in his last 2 at bats for Utley, and he's bounced into a double play and a fielder's choice out at the plate. Utley, who came in hitting over his last 14 games, just 148.
Watch Jimmy Rollins. Normally, a third base coach will have a sign with the runner at second base. I'm sending the runner. But consider the fact that if had Rollins run there, he could have legally interfered with Gonzalez or certainly diverted his attention from the throw home.
That is ball 3 to Abreu with Burrell on deck. Runners at first and second, 2 out. And now they're just going to put Abreu on and take their chances with Burrell.
All right, here we go. Burrow's up.
So the intentional pass, and the bases are loaded. And it's up to Pat Burrell, who in this situation has been terrible this season, hitting .056 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position.
2 for 36. Man.
And he's still driven in 52 runs on the year. The RBIs have not come in this spot. Trying to deliver for the Phillies. From Papelbon. He came right after him. Oh, 2. The rookie did not play around. 3 pitches, 3 fastballs. Top of the 9th, over.
Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 7 years has gone.
Jonathan Papelbon getting into and out of trouble in the top of this 9th inning, keeping it 3-3, and now Ryan Franklin is handed this game. And he will work to Lowell, who's homered today, Crisp, and Gonzalez. Mike Lowell, who is, at least was, considered a throw-in in the Beckett deal. Hitting .236 last year, has been red hot. He takes a wide strike, and this strike zone is silly.
That plate right now is about 21 inches wide for Bob Davidson. He has called balls off the plate, so why not go back out there, says Chris Coast. Do not want to come inside to Mike Lowell here. Remember, we said earlier, an inside hitter, and as Joe said, with 1 home run in this game.
In the air to center. Back is Rowan, a nice running catch. 1 out to start the bottom of the 9th inning, and let's quickly check in with Jeannie Zalaska.
Well, the White Sox are at it again, taking down the Astros. Joe Treaty with a grand slam to tie it in the 7th. Bottom 10, Alex Cintron with the bases loaded. That hit there just enough to drive the go-ahead run home. 6-5 White Sox. That's a final in 10.
So the White Sox get another. And another at the expense of an NL Central team. They swept the Cardinals. They are 2 for 2 against Houston. Here's Crisp. Ball 1. On deck is Gonzalez. 1 out. Bottom of the 9th, tie game. Half swing, and Franklin will take that easily. 2 out. Alex Gonzalez will dig in. 1 for 3.
Can't help but think about Alex Gonzalez in that swing against Jeff Weaver of the New York Yankees in the bottom of the 12th inning of Game 4 of the 2003 World Series. A walk-off home run for the Marlins. And then the Marlins went on to beat the Yankees 2 more and win their 2nd world title.
They were down 2 games to 1. They won that game, tied it, won Game 5, and came to New York behind a guy named Josh Beckett. Pitched a complete game for the victory in Game 6. Oh, and 2 and a blink on Gonzalez. Good work by Franklin, who picks up for Rhodes, Cormier, and Geary. More solid pitching from this Philadelphia bullpen. Just sticks the bat out. And Utley takes care of Gonzalez. We go into inning number 10. Extra innings on this rainy day at Fenway. Howard, Rowan, DeLucci coming up. We're into the 10th inning now. Howard, Rowan, and DeLucci against Jonathan Papelbon, who relieved in the 8th. Got 1 out, pitched a long but effective 9th. And here he is in the 10th. It's a ball outside to Howard.
How about the Howard shift on? How many players in their 2nd year in the major leagues are good enough to have a shift on? Well, Ryan Howard's one of them. Maybe the first I've ever seen with the shift on in his 2nd year of play.
A lot like the shift that teams employ for David Ortiz, and their comparisons do not end there. 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 powerful left-handed hitting studs in these 2 lineups. Howard for the Phillies. Big swing and a miss, strike 2. Comparison to David Ortiz. Born a day apart, 4 years apart. The height the same, the weight more for Howard, and while David is from the Dominican, Ryan Howard is from St. Louis, and he hits it off the end of the bat. Papelbon still throwing hard, and the count's still 1-2. Longest outing of the year for Papelbon, 2 1/3 innings on April 21st at Toronto. He could equal that if he can get through the 10th inning here against Philadelphia. Two and two. Ryan Howard with a pair of doubles and 4 at bats. Full count. Ken, you have more on these two sluggers for each side?
Yeah, Joe, these two run into each other in spring training in Florida from time to time. And David Ortiz told me yesterday that he always says to Howard, did my dad have anything to do with you? That's how similar they are.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Third strikeout for Papelbon, 1 out.
Howard trying to put the Phillies ahead. 2-seam fastball from Papelbon to get him.
And now Aaron Rowan, who was the piece of the puzzle that came to the Phillies from the White Sox in the Thome deal. The Phillies hoping that they get with Rowan what they got years ago with Lenny Dykstra. Back in the early 90s, Dykstra had helped the New York Mets win a World Series. Dykstra was a big part of the pennant win for the Phillies in '93 and having a guy anchor center field and try to get things started, although Dykstra was a leadoff hitter type. A presence out in center, and Rowan is still in his mid to late 20s. A good player, but set up here at 0-2.
Lenny Dykstra and Roger McDowell for Juan Samuel in the late 80s.
Stays alive. 96 from Papelbon. In the bottom of this 10th inning, the Red Sox will send in the top of their lineup: Euclid, Cora, and Ortiz. The Phillies have Franklin in the game and Tom Gordon getting loose. 2 out. Let's check in with Jeannie Zalasko.
Had sore legs after stealing a base Friday night, demanded to be in the lineup today and found a way to rest those legs. Just a nice, easy jog around the bases. A home run, but now we got a tie ball game. Everybody has 2 top 3.
And now 5 in front of the former Boston pitcher.
Put that very well.
2 out, nobody on. DeLucci at the plate. After the first pitch and fouled out of play. DeLucci had a chance with a couple on in the 8th and struck out. First man that Papelbon faced. So he starts in on this lineup for the 2nd time. Phillies just dying for a win here. 3 games under 500. That's strike 2. Papelbon could strike out the side, and 4 in a row if he can get one by DeLucci. Papelbon struck out the last hitter in the 8th, the last hitter in the 9th with the bases loaded. With the bases empty and 2 out here. He's 0-2 on DeLucci. No strikeout, but the third out nonetheless. And with the top of the lineup coming up, including David Ortiz. Red Sox bat, bottom of the 10th, tied 3-3. Kevin Youkilis first up against Tom Gordon, the former Boston right-hander, now with the Phillies. Last 2 years with the Yankees. He has had a great start to his Philadelphia career. He has 20 saves, third best total in the National League, trying to keep it tied. Youkilis pops it into shallow center, and Aaron Rowand comes to get it, 1 out. Alex Cora will be the hitter. Gordon has been so good this year. However, his last 14 appearances against the Red Sox, regular season and postseason, he's put together a record of 1-1, but an ERA of 6.43. If you ask him, he'll tell you he had 2 years of setting up for the best reliever in the game. Cora doesn't like the call, and who can blame him?
Tom will also tell you that he learned an awful lot from Mariano Rivera of the Yankees.
Alex Cora's second at bat. He struck out his first time. Loretta had been in this spot, was 3 for 3, left with a neck strain. The last hit for the Boston Red Sox came back in the 5th inning with 2 out, a base hit by Trot Nixon. Since then, they've been handed 1 walk, and that is it as far as base runners. Still raining in New York. The 1-1. Cora back up the middle. And the winning run is on with 1 out here in the 10th.
Time here at Fenway.
Mr. Uh-oh is coming up in David Ortiz. With the rain falling here at Fenway Park. Ortiz 1 hit today. Number 1 in the major leagues with 19 go-ahead RBIs. 19 of his 64, which leads the American League. Mr. Uh-oh Jr. is on deck, and Manny Ramirez. Time called by Coast, the catcher. He wants to talk to Gordon.
What a tribute when you think about it. I mean, the fans are standing as though David Ortiz was a pitcher and there were 2 strikes on him. A pitcher with 2 strikes, the fans always rise. They have risen, hoping he can do it again.
Good pitch down and in from Gordon, 2-1.
Like a very tight slider in on the hands to Ortiz.
Come on, David!
Good pitch again, even more down and in. 2-2.
That last one really had some bite on it. Down and in.
Ortiz into center field, hit it well at the wall. Ortiz has done it again.
Uh-oh is right.
He is amazing. 20 go-ahead RBIs to lead the major leagues in another Ortiz celebration.
tell you, folks, it's not this easy. What a legend.
Another look at the 2-2 pitch that did not come back.
Remarkable.
Gordon can just turn and walk away as Ortiz celebrates at home plate with his teammates, and the Red Sox have won 8 in a row. At the moment, 2.5 up on the Yankees in the AL East. The final score in 10 innings, 5-3 Boston. And our player of the game, Chevrolet player of the game, is David Ortiz. In recognition of his outstanding play, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Chevy, an American revolution. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal with David Ortiz.
David, what is it when the game is on the line that enables you to do what you just did?
I don't know, man. You know, you just put yourself together, concentrate, and you got rain coming in, so you don't want to be here too long.
How about Papelbon today, what he did in the late innings?
Unbelievable, you know. He's been healthy all year round for all he's been doing, and, man, that's what we need.
Now, when you're up and the crowd's chanting your name and the game is on the line like that, what is going through your head?
Get it done. Get it done at the time. You know, you try your best. The worst thing is you're not getting what you want, but at least people see you trying.
All right, David, what about this win for the team today? Obviously, it's a tough one. You guys come out ahead.
It's great. You know, we got to keep winning. We had a close division, close score. Everybody's pretty close, so we got to try to win the many games we can.
All right, thank you, David. Back to you, Joe.
All right, Ken, thank you. There is no more dangerous person to see at the plate with a game on the line than David Ortiz. For Pete Macheska, our producer, and Ray Tipton, our director, Steve Horn, our editorial consultant, Tim McCarver and Kenny Rosenthal, I'm Joe Buck. For more information on today's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com, powered by MSN. Right now, Jeannie and Kevin come your way from the Fox Television Center. Red Sox win it in 10. 5-3. Ortiz does it again.
Guys, unbelievable. Kevin Kennedy, welcome to the Chevy postgame show on Fox. Chevy, America's #1 fan.
That's why we were getting ready about 2 minutes before he came.
Everybody across America called it. All right, and we know this is factual as well. NASCAR on Fox returns with Nextel Cup Racing from Sonoma. The world's best drivers take the track. Defending champ Tony Stewart looks to defend his title on NASCAR's West Coast road course. Nextel Cup Racing tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific in high definition, only on Fox. I'm going to shout out already and call the next time that this happens. I know we got to get you some scores, let them rip and watch. But I'm going to call right now that next clutch situation, he's going to hit one out.
It's uncanny. It's
Boy,
unbelievable.
Blue Jays all over the Mets.
Yeah, El Duque got pushed out of this game. Second appearance by Willie Randolph, but really it had to do with the warning. They went out and argued, and it really wasn't Willie Randolph's fault.
To the mound, and you got to take a seat.
Yeah.
Rain delay for the Yankees and the Marlins. All right, Philly and Boston just witnessed this one. Took 10 innings, but what a dramatic finish.
You think David Ortiz thought Tommy Gordon was in pinstripes?
Yeah, I think he just got the big eyes, saw the pinstripes, and it went out. No, nobody remembers that.
Tommy's been good for the Phillies.
All right, the White Sox beating the Astros again. 10 innings there as well.
They're the comeback team, also playing a lot like Boston. Creedy tied it up with a grand slam. Cintron to base it to win it.
And look at the Tribe. The Indians shutting down the Reds 4-0. Paul Bird, 8 shutout innings.
Best appearance of the year for Paul Bird.
Hey, Barry Bonds with a home run, but right now it really doesn't matter because it's bottom 3 and the A's are out in front 4-2.
Barry Bonds, 7-19, 5 ahead of Babe Ruth now.
And we're sitting at the end of 2 right now, and the Orioles are out in front of the Nationals 1-0. All right, next week, Fox Saturday Baseball will continue with a Big Apple battle between hated rivals, the Mets and the Yankees, or the White Sox versus the Cubs. or the Astros taking on the Rangers. Plus, it's the battle in L.A. between the Dodgers and the Angels. It all starts next week, 1 Eastern and Pacific, right here on Fox. What can you do about David Ortiz?
You know, the best 3-4 combination in baseball with David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. That's why everybody says, well, you don't pitch to David Ortiz. You look on deck.
You got Manny coming up.
You got Manny. You got a future Hall of Famer on deck, and David Ortiz is hitting like a Hall of Famer. He's only hitting 265, but in the 9th inning, he's the guy you want at the plate.
That's the way it worked out. And we have to go. For Kevin Kennedy, I'm Jeannie Zalaska. We'll see you back here next Saturday.
Promotional consideration paid for by